Just always a good start. Right. Hello, let's start again. Hello. Can people hear me? I don't think they can. Yes, they can.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yes, they can hear me. So that's good news. Hello, or bad news.
I'm glad the first thing everybody saw of me was me coughing away and coughing and coughing.
Well, hello.
I had the microphones turned off for it, luckily. Hi, Keddy.
Hello, hello, Master. Hope you are well. We are here on another Tuesday evening. It is cold in here. I am once again joined by my lovely assistant, Derek. How are you, Derek?
I'm alright.
Oh, it's not.
I didn't realise I'd been upgraded to a system.
Well, my assistant is a massive downgrade for everyone. Anyway, really.
The money's better though.
You get paid?
I don't know. I'm waiting for the first check.
Well, you'll be waiting a long time. So as you can see, there's a oh, so Keddy's asking me to change the overlay quickly. I will do now. But above my head is a little logo for SimStaff. It's a QR code. If you click on it and sign up to their newsletter, that will make us look very nice. So that's our first request for this evening. The second request.
Can you click on it?
No, you can't click on it. You
So when you said if you could click on that, please, it would help.
if you could use your mobile phone camera and scan the QR code and sign up for their newsletter, more information will be coming soon. 2 seconds. Derek, can you keep the punters happy for a minute while I talk to, while I sort my daughter's telly out?
Yes.
Just talk stuff.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. I can pull the plug. That might work. It's going to an advert, so that might help out for about 30 seconds. On tonight's show, we started a little bit late, but we'll get there in the end. Once James gets back, we'll jump straight into. We've got an in-depth discussion about the driver's rating and the roles and how FRL comes to giving you your role due to your driver's rating or your the word that was me, hot laps. Then we'll be having our normal lottery. What else do we have? But obviously later on we'll have qualifying and then the race, which I will leave you in the capable hands of James and Ryan for. But podcast wise, I think majority of tonight will be taken up with James going on about and explaining how the driver's ratings are going to work, how they do work, and why we had a deficit in AM this year. There was a lot of faster drivers got in. But like I say, we're going to go through the whole idea of what the driver's rating is and how it works and the reason that the situation happened anyway.
Right. Okay.
Hi James, you're back. I saw you sneak in the door.
Hello. I was going to talk about something different, but and we're going to talk about.
You didn't tell me.
No. I just made it up off the cuff as always. But we can talk about driver ratings because
I think we should, because we did promise last week, and I believe there is some people that are still a bit confused as to not so much how the driver rating works, but how so many AM drivers manage to get in that are very, very quick.
Okay. Right.
And I think it would be nice to give them an idea of how the background of the driver's rating works, along with the hot stints and things.
Okie dokie. Okay, let's go. So, let me get my various different...
It would help me out as well, because I don't really understand it either. I just know that mine's is crap. and will never ever come up.
Well,
I'll never be promoted.
you and I are pretty much stuck at whatever level we are at. I have absolutely zero confidence anyone can hear me. So microphone, yeah. Okay.
Keddy obviously could hear you.
What he says?
Is the wee thing bouncing up and down on OBS when you talk?
Yes, the mic audio thing is, and then it goes red.
And then when I'm talking, does it do it too?
That's the desktop audio goes up and down when you talk.
Yep. So everybody can hear what you're saying.
Yeah, Smiley says we can hear me. Right, okay, good.
We're not too early again. This is a podcast before. It's a bit like the RAR before the 24. We are the podcast before the Super Sprint.
Yes, and you can just fortunately see all the commentary, all the race action going on behind you on the screen. So currently 15 in. Right, okay.
Two of the people with the biggest heads covering up most of the screen.
Indeed, that's why we've had to shrink our things. So this is my wonderful world of spreadsheets. This is the source of all information. This is it's my home. So this has every single driver that's ever raced in FRL or thought about doing a hot stint. So there are just under 1,500 drivers in here. And the day you join in FRL, you were asked to now you're asked to complete a hot stint. So there's step 4 in the server. Hello, Brizzle. step 4 in the server, where you do 7 consecutive laps at a track that's been designated for that quarter, so for 3 months. The track this time around is Barcelona. So as you see from this screen, if you were quicker than 7 consecutive laps was quicker than 1 minute 44, you were assigned Pro. Quicker than 1:45, Silver. 1:47, Pro Am. Quicker than 2 minutes, then you were categorised as an Am driver. Anyone slower than 2 minutes, you need to question. But they would essentially go.
Well, no, they're a new person.
You would still essentially go into the AMs, but it would just fall outside of my formula. Where everything went wrong with this time around, we had a very clear split between pros, pro drivers, and AM drivers, and that time was a 1:44.5. So anyone quicker than a 1:44.5 went into the pros, and anyone slower than 1:44.5 went into the AM section. That caused issues because, as you can see from this spreadsheet, this is the export from the wonderful spreadsheet, the wonderful database that we've been given. So
it looks a lot better now than it did originally.
Yeah.
Originally there was like 6 people had 1:44, and then it was still 1:45s until people continually went back to try and improve their time.
Yes.
But initially it looked awful.
So these 58 drivers who are faster than 1:44.5 went into the pro section. Anyone slower than that went into the AM section, of which there are 125 drivers. So basically 2/3 of the drivers who were going in to the hot stints were going into the AM section. What that did is, Rookies is probably the most popular series we have in FRL, and any driver that fell slower than a 1:44.5 at Barcelona, which is very, very competitive, went into the AM section. And that's why there are so many drivers in the AM splits that probably don't need to be in there, and evidence of that is shown by a couple of sheets which I'm going to show in a moment.
Yeah, I'm in 6th place instead of being in 2nd place in the tier 2. That's why it's happened.
So once you've done 4 races in FRL, your driver rating then takes over. So this is my wonderful world of spreadsheets. So anyone who has marked as check on this tab, that means that their driver rating and their driver rating and what role they've been assigned in the Discord is out of alignment. So, for example, Chris Souter has been assigned a silver status. However, the suggested role for him is Pro Am. So at the end of every season, I will go through this list and cleanse everything and move everyone into their correct space. So currently, there are 109 people who need to be assigned to the correct place, and that's because they've either done more than 4 races, or their driver rating and their role has become out of alignment because they've done more races. So that's how the driver rating system works. So you go from your hot stints to your after 4 races, that's where it takes over. And those 4 races can be an endurance event, or they can be a single series event like the super sprints that we have here today. So that's how the ratings should kind of progress from beginning. So if you look at, I can't go into Discord, so I'm trying to think of, I don't have it. Yeah, I do. There we go. I have the driver rating dashboard open, funny enough. So Bjorn,
that's quite good, because I have a question for you on that.
Go ahead.
I think I know the answer, but I may not. So you have your normal driver's rating. Like if you look at Class,
Bjorn, yeah.
His driver rating silver 46.3.
Yep.
Right. If you come down to the last, is it 15 races?
Yeah.
There's a dial for it, which is a different number.
Yeah.
I've been asked a few times, and I keep telling everybody it's the actual driver's number that we use. Which driver's rating do we use to decide which tier you're going into?
This one, the overall
main
driver rating,
Okay,
and
that's what I thought.
the reason behind it is because I haven't figured out how to do this one en masse. So the dynamic driver rating, if I show you my workings for it, you'll understand why. Race by race, GR. So
I think if you could ever work out the physics of it and how to do it, I think that would be a better one.
I agree.
Then everybody actually gets changed around more frequently.
Yeah, and that
depending on their previous season's abilities.
Yeah,
and it gives me a chance to go up to pros at some point.
Absolutely.
Just for a laugh.
So this table on this column on here is all the dates where a race has happened in FRL. This is the driver's name concatenated with the date. This is the quali score, race 2 score, number of races, the driver rating, if it's valid or not, so if they actually raced or not, just to help with my formulas. Which then gets brought into this table, is then sorted in this table, which then produces the total, the number of races, so 10 in this case. So 10 in this case, and divided by their total driver rating, which is 416, divided by the number of races gives the average driver rating or the dynamic driver rating, and that's why I can't do it en masse. Basically, because the number of formulas involved in being able to do it is a little bit much.
Yeah.
So if we look at our good...
If anybody can figure it out, it'll be you.
Yeah, I probably can. It's time. A lot of us...
You'd also have to make sure that it's only you that can enter it, that way the little instance of who deleted the sheet doesn't happen. All your formulas deleted.
I have backups. So if we have a look at Chris Jones, for example. So... he has, well, who's done a time? Who do we know has done a time? Anna. Right, so Anna came in and she did, her current status is pro. A Barcelona hot stint put her as 146.3. And if we look back at our calculation sheet again, a 46.3 would put Anna in a...
puts Anna in
Pro-Am.
The AMs by quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, the Pro-Ams. Okay.
Well, when we done the original pros and AMs originally, it put her well inside the AM, so at the time when we put them in the AM, we thought we were doing the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the only piece of information we had at that moment in time. So,
especially if she hadn't raced with us before either.
Absolutely not. So now, because Anna's done 4 races, the driver rating takes over. So Anna's driver rating is currently 51.1. So if we go into this spreadsheet again,
Smiley was all excited in the chat, thinking he's going to look at me, and then you went to Anna straight away.
Yeah, it's because your driver rating is actually correct, or your roll's correct. So if we find Anna now, I know I had to change Anna's name a few moments ago earlier. So Anna. There we go. So Anna's now suggested driver rating is not pro, it's silver, because Anna had a bad race last time out when she last raced to us, and she got a 7.4. So, but if you look consistently over the last couple of weeks, 65.4, 65.4, 52.3, 65.1, and then a 71.4. So that's how that's dropped so dramatically. So.
And I believe she said it was a mechanical problem with the pedals anyway, so...
So, next season, if Anna doesn't do another race this season, she'll be put into the silver category, which I think is probably the right place for her, to be honest.
Possibly, yeah.
So that's how that works.
It's right on the cusp of it anyway.
Yeah.
Either side of it, so...
So, Mr. Fresh Brizzle himself. So, Brizzle is just on the cusp of dropping from silver into Pro-Am.
Yes.
Brizzle does a lot of races with us. Okay.
Bristol also does a lot of DNFs, which doesn't help.
So Bristol's had 7 DNFs. So a DNF, if I show you another one of my wonderful world of spreadsheets.
I think a DNF out of every position you can finish is the worst possible thing to do.
Yes.
Is not finish a race.
Right.
We're good. We're good friend Woody knows all about that. 13 in the last 10 races or 10 weeks or something like that.
Yeah. This is another one of my beastie spreadsheets. So because we did so along with splitting the driver ratings into 4 categories, we also implemented a minimum and a maximum. So if you finish the race, as in you cross the finish line, the minimum you can get in a pro race is 25. Does finish at the rookie series count less? Yes,
No.
it does. It does
Oh,
count.
does it?
Yes, it does. I'll explain more now. So this little table on the left is my little is automated, so I can't do anything special with it. So for a rookies race in tier 1, the maximum you can score is 60, 70 for tier 1. For tier 2, it's 46, 56, 64 is the maximum you can score. So yes, you do receive less driver rating points, or you can get a maximum, a lower maximum for a rookies race as opposed to a pro race or a one-off event.
As opposed to.
As opposed to.
As
Yeah.
opposed to. Pros to.
Yeah. So for example, tonight, sorry, just got a message on my phone. So as opposed to for tonight, the pros for qualifying will score out of 20. So 20 down to a minimum of 5. For a race, it'll be 40 as the maximum, as 10 as the minimum. For the AMs, the maximum they can score in qualifying is 10. The maximum they can score in each race is 30. The minimum for quali is 2. The minimum for the race is 4. So you shouldn't get, in theory, you shouldn't get a driver going from AMs to pros after a good number of races. You shouldn't happen as often. You should.
Yeah, it should be.
You
so
should.
It should be moved up to silver at least.
Smiley, you can never access my DNF sheet. So this is last week's GT3 Friday, Pure Sim Gear GT3 Friday results. So as you can see here, you've got the pro qualifying. So Garby scored 20. Oliver Ewig scored 5.7 for finishing in 21st. For the race, Mattia Nichira scored 80 because it was a single event race, and Domokos Kish, because he finished, scored 28.6. Alfie Barron and Michael Firth scored 0 driver rating points
For the DNF.
because they DNF'd. So if I change Dominic Ingalls as an example to DNF by there, the driver rating will automatically, eventually, sometime in the next couple of weeks, go to 0, because a DNF automatically means you get 0. So it updated that quickly. In terms of the fastest laps, sorry, any questions about my sheets or the driver rating from yourself, Derek?
No.
Right, my favourite.
I've just lost its thing.
My favourite thing in the world. Christ, what's happened to there? So Anonymous Octopus is destroying my presentation. So let's go on to.
Anonymous Octopus. Who's that? That's got to be Will Friedman then, right?
No. So this is my life. Please don't move my little barrier, because it stops everyone from changing stuff on the screen. So my favourite thing in the world at the moment is this. So let's drag that back up. So
Donington tonight.
Yeah. So if you want to change this to Misano as an example, the moment I put in the results, this automatically updated. Okay, so I put in the results into this spreadsheet not this spreadsheet, which one? This spreadsheet. So I'll copy and paste the results from SimGrid into here, and then as soon as I've done that, everything updates. So this updates, the dashboard updates, the Hall of Fame updates. I don't have to do anything else, so I like that side of things. For the driver rating, the hot lap, the fastest laps automatically go into here, and also quali times. Pole lap times. This automatically updates as well from my spreadsheet, so I don't need to do anything else. My life is complete. The other thing which I've done is added the fastest lap from the endurance races into here as well, which is something I did quite recently, rather than GT4s, because we don't do enough GT4 races, so I decided to go with teams instead. Oh, yes, for endurance races. So next season, with one of our new events, that should get more and more up to date, which will be quite cool. The next thing I wanted to talk about.
So the one thing you wanted to talk about tonight before I destroyed your whole idea and made you go into the driver's rating instead.
So this is our survey which we wrote out to you guys and asked you to fill in a couple of weeks ago. And I'm not sure if we got much time to go in detail to every single result, but we'll just kind of provide a little bit of an overview, and next week we can kind of talk through some of the feedback.
You still keep that anonymous, though, right? Because that was.
Well, yeah. Yeah, you can see.
Just when I see everybody's name above it, I'm going, oh.
Yeah, but you can't necessarily say Sergio did this one. I can see that data, but you're not going to be able to see. So Eli Poe, you can't necessarily see what his results were unless I went on individual and then said what Eli Poe's responses were. So there we go. So this is just to give me an idea of who's filling in the survey across each of the individual nights. So TIMPSONS Super Sprints, Rookies, Fridays, Endurance, one-off events, late night. They don't currently race with us. First question was, are the current formats for the league races relevant? Overwhelmingly, yes, with 3/4 of people. Do we start?
There we go. Sergio was. He was just using you as a reference. Don't worry about it. Sergio was popped up going, what? Question mark.
Derek wasn't happy with your feedback. So, do we start at a reasonable time? 85, almost 86% people said yes. Ironically, so basically, if you put no in this, then it gave you a chance to say what would be an ideal weekday time for you to race. 20% of those people said 8 PM.
Well, that's what time we race at.
So
it was interesting that you even added 8 PM to that question, Hill.
It was, yes, but
was it a way to try and catch people out?
Yeah, it just made me laugh. So 3 people
said 30% think 7 PM, which I can understand that that's probably most people from Central or Eastern Europe.
Yeah. So are you happy with the current stewarding process? 67% people said yes. I was quite surprised that was so high. 9%, just under 10% said no, and 22.5% said unsure. So I'm guessing those guys have not been involved in accidents, which is good for them.
I had to say yes because I was involved in the process of building that stewarding system. I was kind of forced to say yes. I had to back my guys.
Do you support the FRL licensing procedure? So I was quite surprised. 86% people said yes.
Yeah, that was this is how many people?
71.
Okay.
Do you enjoy the prospect of 4 classes, Pro, Silver, Pro-Am and Am? Again, overwhelmingly said yes. This is my favourite one.
What do you like? Do you like the pit window?
Do you like the pit window in operation for Rookies and GT3 Friday? 27% said 38% said unsure. 20% people.
I was probably unsure myself.
20% said no, and then 42.3% of people said yes.
So the 42, the yeses are okay then. They like it.
They like it, but not an overwhelming majority, I would say.
No, I think the unsure is. I think where you get the unsureness of it is, it's a nice process if you don't crash in the first little bit, and it's usually someone hitting you.
Yeah.
That you get upset about, and then you got to spend the next painful 15 minutes waiting to get into the pits.
Sergio says the pit window rules.
I think it does actually work. Also, it gives them more of a challenge. It's not just go out, drive, pit when you want to, use the overpowered strategy of pitting, and then that's it.
Yeah. So, do you like the current quali length? And bearing in mind, we generally do about 15 minutes qualifying for most races unless we split it. So, 77.5% people said yes. 3 people said no. Drive Honda or Lexus, damage does not matter. So, and then only those 2 people got... 2 of those 3 people answered the next question, which is how long do you want qualifying? 20 minutes or 10 minutes, basically, was the response. Quali split classes, or quali split by classes or all together. Everyone basically prefers them to be split.
Yeah.
Which
There's less carnage, less reason for the easy excuse is to say an amateur got in the way of my qualifying run, or a pro ruined my qualifying run by being too quick. So that just it nullifies that whole complaint.
Yep. The next one is, would you be interested in doing 2-hour races on a weeknight? And 59.2% of people said yes. Boy,
that might help. That might help the people that want to start at 7 o'clock, because if you're doing a 2.5 hour race or a 2-hour race, or a 2-hour race with qualifying, you might want to start at 8 o'clock, might be a bit late.
Hold your fire for next season.
Oh, okay.
And 19 people said no.
Okay.
Which is fine. Do you find the awesome livery sync difficult? 42 people said no, 24 people said unsure, and 5 people said yes. If you were ever stuck, it needs to be... again, Smiley, I agree. I can't do anything earlier than 8 o'clock. I would end up being killed. So... There's a very helpful tutorial video, isn't there, on the internet, Derek?
Wait, is that mine still?
Yes.
Well, that probably needs to be updated, does it not? Or is it still... No, the process will still work.
Yeah, it still works.
Yeah.
Should
it's
rookies...
just divided a few things.
Should rookies have rain?
Yes, I said yes.
It's basically...
No one out, didn't it?
One extra person currently has that it should be real life weather. No, there's not going to be...
See, the thing is as well, what they don't realise by us setting the weather for the rookies, if they go with the real weather, during the winter there will be no hot races. Whereas in rookies at the moment, you may have a night race that's a nice 25 degrees. Whereas if you've done real weather, you could have a night race that's got 8 degrees.
Yeah, which they have to race on Tuesdays and Fridays. So
yes, basically.
I think I support real life weather.
I don't mind it either way. My thing in total is, for some reason, we don't have enough wet races in FRL as it is. I look forward to my wet weather races.
We do it on real life weather. If it's going to rain, it rains. So
it just seems like we're round the other side of the world when it rains and on a track that doesn't rain.
Next one is, how do you feel about the quality of the FRL race streams? That was a nervous one for me, if I was honest. So
yeah, you're holding the mantle for most of the streams.
Yeah, 20 people said excellent, 43 said good, and 8 people said fair. So no poor or very poor. So I was quite happy with that.
Good.
The one which I want to go into probably next week is is there anything FRL could do better? Well, we might have a go at trying to do it now. So I don't know who said this, but keep Tuesday events. I do know who said that. Right, everyone 2 split. Right, so this one, 2 splits on the endurance series in case of full slots. Okay, so we're not just running one-off, so the events are set up on SimGrid as one-off events. However, they are run as a 12-month championship. If we had 2 splits, if you are put in the split that is deemed as potentially the weaker split, and you win that, you could end up overtaking someone who finished second in a much stronger race. So that's
The only
why.
way I could see that possibly work is anybody that's done previous races would have to go in the top split, and anyone coming in just as a one-off would have to go in the second split.
And also, endurance races are extremely resource intensive.
Yes.
Okay, the server is one thing that costs money. We'll live.
There wouldn't be any comms ever on a second tier.
There wouldn't be any comms, and how are we going to manage stewarding?
Yeah, because you'd have to. The stewarding system would have to change in the fact that it wasn't just what lap and race you were in. You would have to say what tier you were in.
Yeah, or what server you were in.
Yeah.
And we can barely get people to put a clip of a video.
Some of the people coming in that have never used the service before just put in, I was taken out on lap 1 car 12, and you're like, what am I going to do with that?
Hopefully we've addressed the second, the one just below this. Seems Rookie's field has a vast gap to the top 10. I feel these guys are not rookie when they are 2 to 3 seconds clear every race. I stopped participating due to this, so I'm sorry you stopped participating. But next season, we
have hopefully explained that today as well,
and
how that works.
And we've put stuff in place to make sure it doesn't happen again, or next season.
Harry Potter has popped up on my screen. I can't see what I'm doing now.
So change your point system so you lose as much for missing, so you don't lose as much for missing one race. I think that's a valid point. I like the fact.
The points that we have are not that strict.
Well, I think
if you miss a race that you withdraw from, you don't actually lose any points. If you don't bother showing up and you haven't withdrawn, you lose 5 points. I don't think that's a lot.
No, it's not that. It's the fact that if you have a bad race, basically you're not mathematically out of the championship, but you're possibly out of the championship because the points for each race are quite tight.
Okay, I've got you now. So they're talking about if you miss a race, there should be enough of a points difference that you can't get back up again.
Yeah, or if you have a bad race. So that's the PlayStation. We don't want to click on PlayStation. We won't click on PC.
I don't know how much Keddy would enjoy that because he misses a few races because of work commitments.
Yeah. So if we have a look at scoring, for example, so you can see here 40 points for a win, 39 for second, 38. Whereas if that was 50, 42, 37, then at least you have an opportunity to claw the points back. I think that's what the question was. That's what the statement is about too.
But I quite like it. I suppose I'm looking at it a different way. Christopher Gedman, who's one of my best friends, has been since we were children. He races with us at the same time, and me and him are usually quite close in points. And it's a nice wee rivalry every year. And on the Friday race this year, or this week, he wasn't able to make it. And I've only gone up maybe 2 places over the top of him. He's still well within the ability to catch back up. Yeah. I kind of like that because if he was gone, then I'm really just fighting with people that I don't know personally. It's a nice wee battle with that personal feeling.
Use Twitch for Friday race, and nobody watches YouTube. Unfortunately, we can only stream one race at a time on Twitch. So therefore,
the only way we could do that is to have 2 different Twitch accounts.
Yeah.
Twitch Pro, Twitch Silver, Twitch Pro Am, and Twitch Amateur.
Yeah, and therefore not get the views anyway. Start an American League. Been there, done that.
That's gone wrong for us on 2 occasions. So
yeah, bought the T-shirt. Not doing it again. I
don't think I would say that it's something that the league might never ever do again. But the thing is, when you've been bumped twice on something, you're more reluctant to go back and do it as quickly. So maybe something that happens in the very far future, but at the moment
it's also bloody
still bummed.
Bloody expensive for American servers, and I'm not prepared to stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes I feel like FRL is changing the way it does things, which can lead to confusion. Maybe less change in some areas could be beneficial. I completely agree. We are changing things. However, hopefully the change that has just happened will stop the issues that we had, and therefore we don't have to change things for a very long time.
Yeah, I think also whether guys realise it or not, we're still a very young league, and we're still trying to find where we are in the sim racing world as such.
Yeah.
So there are going to be a lot of changes, and I can say wholeheartedly since we started that those changes have got smaller as we go through. I think the biggest changes that happen mostly is the rules. The rules get changed to suit certain criteria that have been maybe loopholes throughout the season that have popped up.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing that changes at the moment. But I do believe that it has gotten better as time's gone on.
I think so. So too much death early on. I know before a race, posts get sent out with a driver briefing, but nobody reads it. People need to be done and calm down people before the race begins. There was too much aggression on lap 1. People trying to win everything early on. It kills people races. I completely agree. In terms of there is too much death early on. I know when commentating, I sit there and cringe. When I'm racing, I go very, very quiet and I let everyone kill each other in lap 1. Tickets first and foremost, and then we can get rid of the bad drivers.
Yeah.
The verbal driver briefing, I thought about it a lot, and I don't see why not. Why we can't do a verbal driver briefing before the race. The only thing is, again, resources. Have we got all the people to be able to do it? Because it can't constantly fall to 2 or 3 people.
Yeah. I mean, there's been certain days, it's not something that happens often, but there has been certain times where work commitments or whatever, just getting simple admin things at the end of a race, like pictures of the DNFs and things like that, becomes a problem when we have to ask members that we know that we can trust to get those pictures for us.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Only because it doesn't happen often, but it has happened here and there. So if we were doing our voice one every single time, there's no guarantee that we would have someone to do it. And then you're promising something that you can't deliver on.
I agree.
That's my only worry.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe a pre-recorded one.
Yeah, James just sits one day and records them all.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it could work because at the end of the day, the driver's briefing for rookies would be the same all season.
Yeah. Don't be a twat.
The only difference would be the name of the track changes and maybe 2 races instead of 1. But you don't have to involve that in your actual brief.
No. The next one.
Just record the main points.
The next one I've highlighted is the onboarding feels a bit overwhelming. I know there are steps, but a link to a flow chart or something would help tie everything together. Bring you to ACC. I'm still being new to ACC. I'm still not sure what part of SimGrid plays. I just did what I was told and registered there too. A flowchart.
What's the onboarding? I don't understand that.
So the holding pen, the welcoming area.
Okay. I've never had to deal with that, so I don't know. That's why.
We have tried many different approaches. This approach possibly works the best. However, Keddy, I think you need to design a flowchart, mate. So
Keddy's not listening. He's out on track just now.
All right, okay.
He's got the Beatles ringing out in his ear while he drives.
So I think the maximum 65-minute stint time in endurance races limits the strategy a bit. Okay, so we had a bit of a chat in the admin area about this point, and the reason why it's 65 minutes is to stop people picking the cars with massive fuel tanks.
Yeah. If it's a unstinted race, then the Bentley is going to make a big appearance on a lot of what other cars have got big tanks? The Merc's got a big tank, don't it?
I think so. Whereas the McLaren doesn't.
But I mean, you take the Bentley alone, it can probably go for a good 80-85 minutes on a full tank of fuel. And if everybody else is having to pit in, if you've got a 24-hour race, you're jumping a couple of pit stops that other people have to make.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's.
And at Spa, that's a disaster.
Right.
It's almost a full lap down again after that too.
CBC cool. If you DM me, I will change it. I'll update your nationality to Germany. I apologise. Continue this way. Right. Improve on the stream endurance with real weather and real life races. I like 12 hours of Bathurst, 24 hours of Spa, etc. I don't want to see another 24 hours of Spa for at least another 12 months. But we do have 24 hours of
You've got
Watkins.
6 hours of Spa coming up, which you're going to ignore that, aren't you?
Yes. So we've got 24 hours of Watkins Glen, 24 hours of Suzuka, and we've got kind of a varied calendar for the endurance season next season.
Well, you have the calendar. Could you bring the calendar up now?
I can do, but I'm conscious we've got 5 minutes.
Oh yes, we do.
So continue this way. So keep on doing this. Due to my work schedule, trying to join races is a bit of a pain. Like late night races during the week would be great. We have the Porsche Cup season, which is ongoing at the moment. Next season there will be another late night event on Thursday nights. So make sure you sign up to that. But I like sleep, and that's why we haven't got any other thingies.
The other thing is, if we were to do more late night ones, it would have to be on a day that we already have a race.
Yes.
So Thursdays comes after rookies. You'd have to be after pure sim gear. You'd have to put on a late night, or after Tuesday's race.
Yes, and we're being very coy on what Tuesdays is going to be. Next week, I think I might do a talk through what seasons we're doing next week. But maybe we'll have.
Have they been made public yet?
No.
Oh, so you could be getting yourself in trouble with the CEO here.
Sack me, please. So
I don't think that will happen.
No, unfortunately not. I tried on the weekend. If anyone knows what happened to me on the weekend, then or what happened on the weekend, then basically.
Oh, I missed that one.
Oh, I got a bit drunk.
I know you got drunk, but I didn't see you saying it. Say something bad?
No, I didn't say anything bad. It's what I was doing.
Oh.
Right. Okay. So we're going to take a short break, and then I'll see if I can find Ryan in a dark room somewhere, and we'll get back for the race. So
we'll drag Ryan out of the dark room.
Yeah. So
into the light.
Back into shakes of a Twinkie. Thank you.
On the stream?
No,
No.
the stream's showing the race.
The stream's showing yours. I'm currently watching Alan.
Yeah, the
Wow.
FRL stream's showing your race screen. Yeah. You're not very good with technology, are you?
For a man that works on computers, you're really struggling.
Again, it's one of those, James was on early enough that we could get this set up before the stream started. Yeah. What, you wanted to break the forum? What you try to do? See, yes. Oh, somebody's been disqualified already, car number 52. Oh, Marco put him to the pits because he was out when he shouldn't have been.
That is very small.
Yes, it
Have
is.
you got your microphone turned off, James?
Yes, I think I did. Chris, can you hear me now?
No.
Oh, so what I was trying to do, and hopefully you can hear me. There's always one that doesn't do qualifying right. Yes.
Yeah.
So you've basically just you've just seen me fiddling around with OBS, and I've added Ryan's little screen in the bottom right hand corner, so we'll be able to see what Ryan's seeing on track, and we'll also be able to see the main feed of what's going on as well, which hopefully is an improvement, despite the methods that we got there, which might not have been very good. So, anyway, we are here. We've done the podcast.
The screen's starting to get very crowded, isn't it?
It is, and I also need to change the overlay, because Keddy made a mistake. Anyone who can... apparently the little screen has no livery sync, Ryan.
It does.
Yeah, it doesn't have any livery on it. If we add livery and things to... has it got the livery sync?
Yeah.
Ah, Grace Smiley's on the livery sync attack.
Yeah, he gets very upset when he sees a car that's not got a livery, but it's not always our fault.
Oh, big...
I synced all the liveries 10 minutes before the start of the thing.
Oh, he says the other way around, it's you that's not got the liveries, James.
I synced before I came into comms.
Before we done the podcast, you done it?
Yes, I did. So,
yeah. So it may have changed since then.
It may have changed.
Is that Brazil you're watching?
It
Yeah,
is, yes.
you haven't got Brizzle's livery.
So
No.
that's a livery that's been there for a while, because that's the ERS one that he's running to the...
Well,
Krillodix asked him if he would run it now that he's part of the team.
okay.
So that should have worked,
Well,
because you had it last week.
I did. Well, no, he wasn't in. He was in FRL one last week.
No, but the ERS Aston was running last week,
Okay.
so you had it. Well, no, you weren't here last week, were you?
I wasn't here for some of it. Anyway, right, okay, qualifying. We are down to the final 2.5 minutes of qualifying. Let's just have a quick update. So, Ian TIMPSONS currently in P1. Alan Brown has just been demoted to P2. Papano has now just gone up into P1 with a 1:27.1, 6/10 quicker than Ian Thompson. Craig Hill, who I'd like to welcome formally from the PlayStation, is in P6, Black Magic 7, Classens in 8th, Woody is in 9th, and Sven Corving is in 10th.
I think we just lost Ryan.
Oh,
just saw the wee feet disappear on the thing.
right.
That was quite funny.
I broke myself.
Yeah,
Trying to press the buttons and I pressed the wrong button.
Yeah, don't press the wrong button.
I thought we took you out of that room and gave you some light.
Yes, and then I've just shown him all of my professionalism in one fell swoop.
Yes. You set the bar very low, James. I've got to say that steering wheel must be doing Mr. Thompson a world of good.
Well, yeah, he was practicing last night and he was in the
Yeah.
28s. Chris Fielder's just popped himself into P1 with a 27.065.
Well, he's in the 27, the low 27s now.
Yeah, he's 27.2. So I told him to aim for 27.5s last night. As Brizzle has seen the end of qualifying, he's just pulled over to the side. Papano is just about to go fastest again, and he's broken into the 27s, 26s, 26.997, and he's going again, and he's going round again. Anyone else up on their times? So Woodward is. This is the home of FRL, by the way. If anyone doesn't know, if you are ever lost in October, then find the Fogarty S's, and that's where the FRL contingent will be on their yearly outing.
Just have a look at the end of the pit lane now, Ryan.
So as you can see from the end of the pit lane, I'm just gonna.
They're ready to go at 8 minutes.
So as you can see, they are all ready to go at the end of the pit lane for the 8-minute marker to kick on. Let's make you bigger. There we go. So Woody's just coming across the start-finish line. He's 6/10 up at the moment, so he's going to break into the 27th, providing he doesn't invalidate. So Woody goes into P6. Gavin Taylor's up on his time as well by 0.8 of a second. Barry Gibbons is absolutely flying, almost a second quicker than his is at the moment as he goes through the final hairpin onto the start-finish straight. Pros are already out of the blocks doing their first time lap. So Barry Gibbons stays P14, no improvement, has gone up to P14 with a 28.8. Ryan Blanchett is going a bit quicker as he heads down into the second to last corner. Again in that Budweiser liveried Ferrari, as my game takes me to somebody else, and that wasn't what I wanted it to do. So Blanchett going through the final corner onto the start-finish straight. I think he and Sven Corving.
Corving's the last guy.
Yeah, it's Ryan
He made it
Blanchett.
over just in time. I was watching to make sure.
So Sven Corving, I think, is being caught by someone as one of the pros as well on their outlap.
Yeah.
No pick.
He passed the start-finish line with about 1 second to go. So by the time he got to the pit entry, the pros were right on him coming out of the pits.
Yeah. Who's that?
I wanted to.
So Sven Corving, P10, stays P10, and that is the end of qualifying for him. Or
Right, Sven, get out of the way, boy.
Yeah, he has.
There
He's
you
just
go.
pulled out of the way. So, having a quick look at the... I'm trying to hit drop-down menus, and we all know that I'm not
Oh!
See, Keddy's been a real nice guy, and he sat in the pits until all the amateurs were in the pits. Now he's going to come out and do some. Now he's going to come out and do his.
We've already had 2 guys crash in the qualifying.
That's always a good start. So, just having a quick recap before the pros start to submit their laps. So we got Papano P1, Fielder 2, Thompson in P3, Taylor 4, Gunther 5, Blanchett 6th, Woody in 7th, Craig Hill in 8th, Brizzle in 9th, Corving 10th, Classens 11th, Raki in 12th, Black Magic 13th, Barry Gibbons 14th, Sauter in 15th, Barato in 16th, and Marco in 17th. In 17th. So that is our current starting grid for the pros. They're obviously going to be switched around a little bit before as the pros start to do their laps as well. Oh, do you know what? I feel
There's a lot to say in one word.
It is. I feel all out of sorts because of the podcast this evening.
You feeling more invigorated or
less invigorated? So No Peck automatically jumps in and does a 26-1. So what is our record here? So Terence Keenan with a 26.035 is our...
I don't know, because I was saying that it was a 21 something because I was thinking of Laguna Seca. I don't know why I had Laguna Seca. I had Laguna Seca times in my head, but Donington has the track that those times were coming in from. And I don't know how that happened.
Well,
I mean, if someone can do a 21 at Donington, they're either cutting a corner or they're absolutely
Tried the
flying.
Formula 3 car.
Well, this is the thing I never get about the British GTs, which we always go and watch and race. The fastest cars are actually the Formula cars, aren't they?
Yeah.
Which always makes me, which always gives me a little slight chuckle inside.
But that's the juniors as well, is it not? I mean, those
Yeah.
kids, they're all like, the oldest one's like 14, 15 years old.
What's that? The GB3s.
Yeah.
The GB3s are up to 18.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
I mean, we were walking through the pits that day, every one of them I saw in their wee outfit looked about 12 or 14 years old.
You can start. The youngest you can start it is, I think if it's 15 if you turn 16, before halfway through the season or something like that.
So they're just small then. They're just midgets.
Well,
Oh yeah.
compared to you, Derek, a giant of a man.
I'm not a giant, I'm a very, well, depends which direction you're going on. Height-wise or width-wise.
The width-wise of me is starting to get more of a bloody an army tank rather than a human being. It's just getting bigger and bigger. Just sat in my chair continuously.
I'll be honest with you though, but where you're concerned, you don't notice it much because you're a tall man.
Mm.
When I walk out, I look like as tall as I am wide because I'm short.
Floppy Fox is putting another Ferrari under quite... is it a Ferrari? I think so. A yellow one.
A yellow one.
And a little bit of pressure as he's going round on his laps, and in fairness, Floppy Fox has decided to back off a little bit. Terence Keenan, who currently holds the...
Stavanella.
It's Stravanella, is it?
Yeah.
So Terence Keenan, who holds the lap record here at Donington in FRL, is currently on his potato internet drifted round the corners in P3 with a 26.387.
I was just gonna say that latency bar on the in-game leaderboard was not looking good. It was sitting at max red for half the lap, and it's now just dropped down to green.
Yeah, in fairness to the potato lad, and that is actually his Discord name, not me insulting any Irish people in any way, shape, or form.
Did it not used to be the Irish potato?
Yeah, it was the Irish potato, that was it.
And then he changed it to Potato Lad.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah, because it's Potato Lad on the ERS esports team. I don't know what it is over here. I don't see him speaking too much.
So
anyway, that might be more information than you were looking for.
It was.
You know.
But what I wanted to say was his internet. If he makes it past the first 2 laps, his internet calms down a lot. That's all I was trying to say. Anyone who is towards the end of their lap and is going quickly, Bjorn Dale seems to be doing okay at the minute. Looking at Papano, he's dropped to P8, Fielden 9th, Thompson 11th out of our pros.
How is Snowpick going faster again by about 3 tenths?
He's just
2
rapid.
tenths. That's crazy.
So he's just about to cross the start-finish line, and that is a new lap record, 26.0. Is he going to try and get into the 25s, I wonder?
I'll keep a wee eye on him. He's back into the positives of the Delta again.
Yeah, straight away from turn 1. Nico Veltman, currently in P1, is going to be bettering his time. P3, sorry, he's now in P2. So he's only just over a tenth of a second. It's a new name to be... I've seen Nico a couple of times on the grid, but it's a new name to be properly up there in amongst them fighting. Someone's just gone a bit quicker. So Skylar Loverink, the man from the US of A, had fantastic races at Indianapolis, and is the only man to have displaced Thomas Nopek this season from being top of something.
Yeah, Thomas Nopek is currently 1/10 faster again, which will put him in the 25s.
Yeah, and so Marcos Keddy's gone into P5. These will be the last attempts by the drivers.
Oh,
so
dropped off.
Michael Firth in P14, I think, will be our first driver to cross the line. He's just going through the Fogarty S's. There's the FRL lot on the side. As he goes down into the hairpin, it's got Stramvanella in front of him again, I think. I can't see where is Stramvanella on the timings. Keenan and Veltman. And yeah,
25.9.
25.987.
Yeah.
Let's just all let that sink in for a few seconds. Michael Firth crosses the line. He goes from 14th to 11th. Next to cross the line, I think, is going to be Chris Schneider, as he's going through the final hairpin. Currently P12, 6/10 up on his lap, so has an opportunity to go to P7, which he does indeed apply. Nigel O'Brien also crossing the line in the Honda. P13 stays P13. Oh, it's moved up to P13. Sorry, my brain is not working. David Goodway, P10 he's getting better this season, I think. And he's the last man to cross the line. So
there's a question in the chat that I'd like, since we're at the end of it, real quick. I've heard this question a number of times as well. I would like to get your point of view. Why is it that Papino and Fielder are still allowed to be in the AMs after mid-season when they're beating everybody? Right,
okay, two different scenarios. And we don't want to see the inside of their eye, Ryan, first of all. So two different scenarios. Papano has come across, or Konstantinis has come across from PlayStation, and for the first season, I've generally allowed any FRL members to start off in the AMs to then progress through. Rightly or wrongly, it's something I've always done, so I'm sorry if that offends anyone. Fielder, where are you, Mr.
He's,
Fielder?
Second in the end, I think.
Yeah, so I'm looking at I'm trying to find his times. Chris Fielder.
He's right between Firth and Goodway.
No. So in the Barcelona hot stint, his time was a 45.4. So that put him into the AMs at the time. That would still put him into Pro-AMs. We don't move a driver around mid-season into a different category. Once you're placed into that category, that's where you'll stay until the end of the season. At the end of the season, Fielder's driver rating is currently a 59.1. So he will either go into the Silvers or the Pros at the end of the season. So, appreciate.
Again, I think it's fair to say that these are brand new guys to the league. And the other thing is as well, if you're halfway through a season and you move them into the Pro League,
yep.
How are you going to sort the points out?
Exactly.
They could wind up with more points than what first and second place have in the Pros. No pick's going to be first regardless.
I think if you put them into the Pro split on SimGrid, it will try and figure out where they would finish in each of the races that happened, but they weren't racing against those people, so they might have let someone pass if they were. They might not have let someone pass if they knew they were competing for a position, being Pros and AMs.
Yeah.
So, yes, and that's because one of them is labelled as a Pro in the Discord, just because I updated the driver rating about 2 or 3 weeks ago, because I noticed something was wrong, and I changed everyone's roles. So. But we did do a little bit about the driver ratings and the splits of people at the beginning of this podcast. So once we're done this evening, please feel free to have a look at the beginning of the podcast where I tried to show as much detail as possible to everyone. So, in terms of the
We have
grid...
lost a driver.
Oh, no. Who have we
Terence
lost?
Keenan.
Oh, no!
He has so much problems with his internet, it's not funny.
So hopefully he can get back in. So before we get going, drivers are just pulling away from the start-finish line. Let's have a little bit of a summary of the grid. So we've got Marco in 31, Stefano Barato in 30th, Sauter 29th, Gibbons 28th, Blackmagic 27th, Raki in 26th, Bjorn Claessens in 25th, Stranvanella in 24th, Sven Corving 23rd, Brizzle in 22nd, Craig Hill 21st, Woody in 20th, Blanchett in 19th, Gunther in 18th, Gaz Taylor and Michael Massey in 16th and 17th, Thompson in 15th, Kish in 14th, Dale in 13th, Nigel O'Brien in 12th, Firth in 11th, Fielder in 10th, Goodway in 9th, Papano in P8, Power in 7th, Chris Schneider in 6th, Skylar Lovering in 5th, Keddy in 4th, Senadore in 3rd, Veldman in 2nd, and Nopek all the way top of the tree once again in P1. So obviously with Keenan dropping out at the minute, that's elevated everyone from P3 upwards, I think, hasn't it? P3 downwards.
Yeah. So Senatore is going to have an empty slot on the inside into turn 1.
That'd be nice of him. We're getting nice views of the car park, Ryan.
Yeah.
He's looking for his car. He wants to go home.
But all we can say with Motorsports is we've done our best to make sure next season we're not in the same situation again.
Yeah.
But there will always be anomalies. Every single season there is.
And after the second race, it becomes almost impossible to change things back around again.
Yeah.
You might get away with it before the second race or just after the second race, but once you get into the third and the fourth race, the points are so delicate that you could have trouble. And Sungrid doesn't like you changing people in splits either.
No, it does not.
It gets a little bit glitchy, and you see people getting disqualified and things that you don't. And it's very difficult to keep up with.
So that didn't last long.
What?
The tyre barrier and the chicane.
Already gone at formation lap. So we are having a look at Mr. Nopek at the moment, leading the cars down into the final corner.
Ryan has your favourite camera angle as well, the drone.
Yeah.
Of course.
So you're going to keep an eye on the action into turn 1, because I think that's going to be potentially a place of fun. So Thomas Nopek leads the drivers away. On your marks, get set, go, as their drivers, and Nico Veltman's had a fantastic start. Nico Veltman's trying to try and go around the outside. Nopek breaks a little bit later. Veltman falls into the almost falls into the trap. So Keddy, Senadore's moved up into P2 with that change of positions. Looking at the feed on the bottom right hand corner, there's a car off on the right hand side, but they are still going round the track, and remarkably, so far of lap 1 at Donington Park, everyone seems pretty cleanly. Senadore's under pressure.
No.
Yeah, there's somebody off at the bottom of the hill.
Really? We've had 5 off, 6 off, 7 off.
7.
Oh, Michael Massey. Oh, there's been a massive crash, including about 8 cars.
Yes, there has, but we're still on board with Senadore. So Nopek's done his normal thing and disappeared. Let's have a look at the Floppy Fox. The Floppy Fox is still on track. Car number 33 is going round the circuit in P12, so he's lost one position since the start, but he's largely been okay. Chris Fielder, one of the other amateurs, is in P10, so he's had a very good start as well. So seems a relatively good start. Brizzle is in P16. He's gained a couple of positions. As I'm trying to look at my screen to find him, he's gained 6 positions.
Michael Massey's in second to last. He had a shocking start. He did get pushed straight into the wall. Yeah,
it looks like Woodward and Thompson, Gibbons and Hill were all involved in that accident back then.
And Power and Chris Schneider are fighting it out for P6 and 7. At the moment, Chris Schneider is behind car number 23, but at the front of the grid, they largely managed to get away pretty cleanly, I think.
Massey
Yeah.
and Ryan Blanchett, and that's beyond date. Who's the number 7? Number 1.
Number 1 is Black Magic. So Black Magic, Blanchett, and Massey are all currently in the pits. Sauter, Taylor, Raki. Oh, so Gavin Taylor's currently off the track and has just rejoined. He's lost a couple of positions. He has to be careful of the McLaren behind him, because there's going to be a little bit of a pace differential. But the Mercedes is back up and running again. Woodward in P21 currently leads Sauter. Raki's pulling away in P20th. Fielder and Nigel O'Brien are fighting it out as well.
Lovering had a wee wiggle coming out of the main chicane there on his Ferrari.
Yeah,
managed to hold it.
He's right behind Nico Veltman.
Yeah, and Kent is right up there bum as well.
So Skylar kind of falls back into the racing line with an attempt to try and get him down, to turn 1. Nopek is sets the fastest lap of the race so far with a 26.1.
Oh, we've got cars entering the pits. Oh, dangerous.
Yeah. Chris Smiley says your jittery drone cam is giving him a headache.
Bjorn Clarkson has severe damage and he is entering the pit lane now.
Right. I think the thing about the drone cam's quite handy to see certain things, but when you're just constantly flying around and trying to get the right angles, it can upset you.
So who's
mentally.
Who's that Mercedes? That white Mercedes?
It's number 1 car. It's
Black Magic. So he's just
Black
come
Magic.
out. He's just come out of the pits in front of all the leaders.
Yeah.
So
he's struggling to let them by.
Instead
of just pulling away to the side a good bit.
So
he's trying to not lose any time, I guess, but this is what you end up seeing is people trying to hold off, not lose too much time and let people by. But when there's a big argument at the front of the field where the guys try to keep up with each other, it can cause significant time loss.
Yeah, another thing about Donington, we haven't actually spoke about this track much at all, but the other thing about Donington, it is an absolute pain in the arse for track limits.
Mm-hmm.
And how many people get track limits at that chicane is unreal. I'm just going to take my hoodie off a second because I'm absolutely sweating. 2 seconds.
The chicane's where I lose all my time.
Well, we've had a off behind number 888.
Actually, what happens is I lose all my time at the chicane or I get track limits. There's no in between.
No.
I can't find the sweet spot.
So Goodway has managed to get away a little bit. So Keddy is now still right behind Skylar Lovering. He's chasing him down through the second sector. Absolute pain in the arse this corner for gaining too much, gaining exit oversteer and spinning off into different places you don't want to be, and so is this right-hander as well. I would love to say I know the corner names on this track, but I don't.
I'm pretty sure it says it on the corners.
What do you mean?
I'm pretty sure the foam barriers say the corner names, unless I'm thinking of Snetterton again.
I think I know obviously Melbourne and Fogarty S's, and there's another one as well. But Papano at the moment is putting great pressure on Daniel Chris Schneider. So Porsche versus Ferrari going through the chicane. The Porsche does manage to get away a little bit. Skylar Lovering's kind of toing and froing between the BMW behind and the Audi in front of Nico Veltman. It's nice to see Nico Veltman this far forward on the track, but the battle up front is still a 1.5 to 1 second between Senadore and Nopek. Nopek goes again and sets the fastest lap of the race with a 26.0, so almost on his qualifying times now.
Craig Hill is off it again in the chicane.
So King of the Hills has sadly...
He's in a Ferrari or an Audi.
He is in the Audi.
He wanted the Audi.
Either car's not the best to be clipping those curbs with though.
No.
I don't like it.
So looking at the battle for P8 at the minute, so Keddy has now gone back closer to Lovering. So you see Skylar just a couple of tenths of a second in front of the BMW. BMW has then a gap 3.4 seconds behind, so we can afford to challenge a little bit to the cars in front rather than worry about anything else behind. Michael Firth has given Nigel O'Brien a bit of pressure as well in a Honda versus Ferrari battle. and Papano and Chris Schneider are going at it again. I think these two got close last week at Mazzano, I think, as well, didn't they?
Oh, it was close between Bjorn Dale, G. Depute, and McFirth.
Yeah, just on board with Gunter at the moment. So Firth is just behind, and Kitch is behind them, and Dale, who loves to be on the stream, is just in front of them as well. So all still going quite well for those drivers. I'm just trying to have a look further down the back of the grid to see if there's anyone who we should be keeping an eye on as well in terms of positions. But Keddy is now straight on the back once more of Skylar Lovering. He's not letting him go.
Oh, close call.
Is that Dale going off in the corner, which we just seen?
Yeah, it was. Bjorn Dale just went slightly wide.
Yeah, cost him a position as well, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It has definitely cost him a position. He's also under pressure from Michael Firth behind by the looks of things. But I've just got a view of Keddy and Skylar as a slower car seems to have let them through ahead of the Fogarty S's. It's just worthwhile to, again, just keep an eye on anyone who manages to get a track limit warning in this very, very short race. So we've also got Papano, we've got Chris Schneider, Papano, Goodway and Fielder and Nigel O'Brien all in close proximity as well as they go head towards the final chicane.
Gunter's just gone slightly deep into the chicane, into the hairpin.
And
Bjorn Dale's trying to make...
Yeah, Bjorn Dale's all over the back of him. Bjorn Dale tries a little bit of a different line, but that puts him a little bit more under pressure from Michael Firth behind. So they go down into the slipstream ahead of turn 1. Remember, they're going to cut quite a bit of the pit entry, the pit exit as they head towards turn 1. It's quite... Some drivers have very different lines through that corner.
In the hairpin for the 137 of Barry Gibbons.
So Barry Gibbons has gone off then, has he?
He did.
Yeah.
He's lost 5 places.
So Bjorn Dale, let's have a look at Bjorn. We like to jump on board with Bjorn. So he's right at the back of the Wiz Motorsports Mercedes. Hopefully Ryan's jittery drone cameras calmed down. He's now actually choosing the game cameras, which is hopefully helping. Also, let me know what you think about having the extra camera on. Hopefully, it adds something to it rather than.
Oh, we've got another one off. At the bottom of the hill, there's another 254. Bon Christ.
So Goodway was attempting to make a move on Papano. He's crawled all over the back of him. As they go, trying to go into the final corner now. Is David going to try and make a move? No, he is not. He still has to be mindful of Fielder and O'Brien behind him. O'Brien has to is also trying to challenge Fielder. Then we got Firth, Dale, and Kish going at it as well. So quite a few little battles going on. Quite a few battles going on across the track.
Skylar Lovering hit the dreaded bump on the exit of the curb, and Katie is closed in about 2 car lengths on him coming through the second sector.
Yeah, just on board with that at the moment.
Just watching Chico's not realised, but his turn signal's on. just lucky there's nobody behind them.
Oh God! If mine were on, I wouldn't know how to turn them off.
I've got mine preset.
I don't preset mine's either. I just don't use them.
I
haven't preset for endurance.
I have a limited number of buttons, so I try.
You have an unlimited number of buttons on that Ferrari one.
I don't have a Ferrari one.
It's not Ferrari, it's a Formula 1 V1.
Yeah, but it's the old one. It's not the multiple.
Oh, it's not the one with like 24 different pads.
72 off. Ben Corvin, he's returned to the pit lane, so that's his race done.
Yeah, hopefully he'll hang around for the second race. We're still looking at Marco versus Skylar. We've also got Gunter and Bjorn Dale, Gunter and Michael Firth going at it into the final corner. It's nice to see Michael lasting longer than a couple of laps, and his cat hasn't killed him yet.
I think we should change his name to the Cat Whisperer instead of Floppy Fox.
Or the Catman.
Yeah.
Beep,
That's
ba, 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 da,
better.
boop.
Crazy Catman, like you get the crazy cat lady.
Catmandu. Chris Schneider still has quite a lot of company in Papano, Goodway and Fielder and Nigel O'Brien behind, so he has to continue to place his car in the right places. Loverink and Keddy are still very, very close, but there's just that BMW just can't get close enough. And yes, we're at the halfway mark. Still time to go.
Well, half the race, obviously.
Obviously, half the race. Is Keddy going to now attempt to make the move into the braking zone? It's going to have to go round the outside, but he's going to hopefully get the undercut and go. No, he's still following Skylar.
Covered that off really well.
Yeah, he did. So Keddy just Marco just has to keep the patience and hope that Skylar makes a mistake. But Nico Veltman, meanwhile, is having a little bit of a race on his own in third place. Senadore is a second and a half behind Nopex. It's probably one of his closest challenges that he's had so far this season. But still, it feels like there's a comfortable gap behind him. Chris Schneider going through turn 1, looking back at Papano in the yellow Ferrari in P8, and then you've got the Aston Martin behind him and then another Aston Martin behind Goodway. Bjorn Dale has had some contact with Michael Firth. What's happened to Michael Firth? Michael Firth is back on the track. I'm not sure if there was contact with Michael. Any news, Ryan?
The cat fell asleep.
Oh, he's getting He's turning into a bit more of the sloppy fox at the moment rather than floppy fox, because he just had a little trip across the grass.
Ooh, he is all over the back of Kishner now.
He is.
I've just got this vision in my head. I'm screaming, shouting at the cat to get off the keyboard.
Yeah, he's never going to live that down, unfortunately for him. So Papano's now, he's going to try and make a move. No, he's not, but he still has to defend from the Aston Martin behind. He has a great run coming out of the chicane. Is he now going to... Is he going to... He's trying to go around the outside again as the two Aston Martins close in very, very quickly. Goodway still managed to hang on to P9. He's going to have to worry about Fielder behind, but we're still looking at Papano. Can he make the move past Chris Schneider into the final corner? No, he can't. But he's still trying every trick that he knows from PlayStation 4 days, battling with Will Freeman and Issa. Is he going to eventually get past Chris Schneider? Goes very, very wide on the entry into turn 1, has to brake, which allows Chris Schneider to get the throttle on. Is he going to...
Trampella nearly ended his whole race there through the final corner as we've got Sven Corbett.
Papano's got past him! Papano's got past him! Papano's got past Chris Schneider, and also David Goodway's going to try and make the move as well. So Chris Schneider's had a bit of a moment. He's lost one position down into P8. Goodway's gone off. Goodway's just gone straight onto the corner. He looks like he's avoided the wall, but he is dropping places rapidly.
David Goodway has just been murdered by Chris Fielder.
He was murdered, right? I just saw him go straight on. So if you can get a replay of that, that'll be fantastic. But it might.
We've also missing Senatore. He disappeared off straight on at the top of the hill.
Oh no, where is Senatore?
He's disconnected from the server.
He flew off into the distance. He's going to the next track.
He's gone. I'm not sure what we've got next time around, but that is promoted Nico Veltman to P3, Sky Loverink for 4, and Keddy. So
am I right in thinking that David Goodway got a bump in the back end there?
Well, this is what we're just about to try and check. So, so if you go back 5 seconds.
Yeah, he does. He gets a wee bump to the side, which is enough to lose traction and send them off track. That's not a lot in it, but.
Oh yeah,
that wee bump to the side.
Yeah, a little bump to the side, and
it's just enough to screw up the traction of the car.
Senatore is floating in the sky.
Oh, hello, how are you doing, Senatore? Now the problem there is he might be still driving around the track on his screen.
Oh God, let's hope not. So
getting bounced around like James knows how that works.
Marco's into P3.
Yeah, Marco's into P3. He's managed to get past Lovering. Whilst we were trying to figure out Oh, whilst I was trying to...
He's got the patience of an airline pilot, doesn't he?
And a Ryanair one, of course, they don't want to be in a second longer than they have to. So, Kenny is...
You can't be dissing my company.
What, Ryanair?
Yeah.
You work there,
My
right?
name.
Oh, Ryanair.
My name. Yeah.
Right.
Work there.
That's only because you only get called Ryanair because your head's in the clouds.
Ha so we got Barato and Stramvanella, but we've also got Kish versus Firth for 11th and 12th, which is getting pretty close as well. Sorry, my voice was dying 2 seconds there. So Kish in the McLaren is right on the back of Gunter in the Mercedes. But he also has to be wary of the floppy fox behind, and let's hope he is not sloppy this time around. So this is our closest fight. Let's have a look further back at our grid. So Michael Massey, in fairness, is still going around the track. He's with Ryan Blanchett in P28 and 29. Blanchett is just... Well, we're just saying he's just let a car through, but he's just collided with 254, which is Marco, on the rear quarter panel as they were breaking into the chicane. Ryan has waited, but I don't think that was much consolation to him. So Bjorn Claessens is in P27.
Chris Field is making a move around the outside of Chris Schneider. Chris Schneider made a mistake into the double right-hander up above the hill.
As they go
and
into
he's made the move.
Yeah, he is. That was... Do you know what? Senatore said, I can't believe I got disconnected from P2. Bugger. So we have seen you flying around. There is a...
Yeah.
I've got Brian as well making a move on Chris Schneider.
So Chris Schneider's having a time of it at the moment. He's not sure what's happened.
Mr. Bristol's had a drive-through.
So that is our first drive-through. Who's that going very wide as well? Is that David Goodway? Oh no, is that Fielder?
That's David Goodway.
That's Fielder, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fielder was going wide. That's given Chris Schneider an opportunity to try and make the move. Fielder has defended it. Who is in the Honda? That's Nigel O'Brien. So we've got Fielder, O'Brien and Chris Schneider all fighting it out. Fielder is under pressure from O'Brien. Is O'Brien going to make the move into Sector 1? Very, very difficult place to overtake. He's had to yield off slightly, which has brought him back into Chris Schneider's territory. So Alan Brown has now gone into the pits to serve his drive-through, our first victim, as once again, every single time we get to this stage of a race, of a super sprint race, it goes chaos!
So Bristol's just completed his...
220, Chris is going slow.
Who is going slow?
Kish.
Oh, Kish. Where is Kish?
Bristol's just came out the pits.
Dominic Kish.
Drive-through done.
Yeah, Domokos Kish is in P14. Goodway is now right on the back of Bjorn Dale once again. He's not gonna, after his little bit of an outing into the grass.
Barretto's just lost the position to Stranvella, and Raki Maggi, one of my lovely teammates, is now trying to make the move on Barretto. As Barretto is really struggling with that Lamborghini tonight.
It's not the easiest thing to drive. I think Raki's just about to make the move now down into the hairpin, potentially Barretto. So Raki has got the move done on the inside. He's now going to have to defend the outside line going right into the final corner. They do have a car in front of them as Barretto now goes to the inside, and they switch positions round again.
As Raki is actually struggling with a bit of damage on that front bumper, just visible. And so we've got the 275.
So we've got we got a car just off going through the grass. I'm not quite sure who that was. It was a Honda.
That is Chris Sota. Oh, and Woody spun. Woody has spun.
Woody span?
Woody's in the wall.
He's not
around
quite.
the grass at least.
I must have given him the commentator's curse because I said who's going to spin first, Chica or Woods. And
Chica's been having a hard time.
Woody's in the wall.
Yeah, the pair of them have been having a hard time since the beginning crash. They've got a bit of damage on them.
Raki is all over the back of Barretto for P16. There's Bro.
Twitch is determined to make me get Harry Potter Legacy. It's the only adverts that's came up so far. And it came up quite frequently. James must be sitting there saying, put an ad on Derek, put an ad on Derek, put an ad on Derek, put an ad on Derek.
I wish I had the power. So Raki and Barretto are still going hammer and tong as they go into the hairpin again. So Raki's going to try and get the inside line. He just avoids contact with the rear of the Lamborghini in front. And now they're going into the final hairpin, closing once again. Barretto defends the racing line. Barretto has once again managed to get away. So Michael Firth and Gunter are still going at it as well. Up it for the fight for the P10.
Well, we got a three-way battle? Two-way battle between Bjorn Dale and David Goodway.
Oh, just seen a change in position. So Nigel O'Brien has taken an excursion across the grass in the 45 Honda, and he's lost the position. So Chris Schneider's once again moved up to P8.
Oh, we've got another one. We've got Stranvella's gone off. So that's given another place to Ricky and Barretto.
So, and now Papano is challenging P5 Dean Power. So Papano's made his way through the grid. So the fastest lap of the race is a 26.2. Papano's done a 26.9, so he's currently 5th fastest on track as well.
So just working out, this battle between Raki Maggi and Barretto is for P4 in the race, which would be a very good result for Raki, just recently moving over to the PC.
Oh, Chica spun it.
Done the same thing as I done. Joining the season halfway through, and just trying to get a hang of things, and he has proven that he is a quick driver.
So Gunter's just gone wide, which has allowed Michael Firth to come through. That doesn't really affect Gunter. He's currently P3, and Michael is one of the pro drivers. So you can see the green is the pro drivers, the red is the AM drivers on the grid. Sorry, didn't clarify at the start. But also we've got Socrates Papano right on the back of Dean Power. He doesn't need to go any further up the field, given the fact that he's P1.
He's closing though on Papano.
So 27.3 last time for Papano, 26.8 as they're going past a lap car, and it looks as though Papano has got past Dean Power, although Dean Power is going for the switcheroo, and he has got that position back as they head into the next hairpin, and Papano's got the position back from him.
Yeah,
but there's no
keep tight to that. Got to keep tight to that apex to make sure it keeps.
Yeah, but you can also understand from Power's perspective, he doesn't need to fight him. He's got 4.5 seconds on Chris Schneider in P8, so he doesn't really need to fight for that position. So
no.
Thomas Nopek is on his last lap. We've obviously, sadly, we've lost Senadore due to a disconnection. So that's
I sent him to try and come back in at qualifying.
Yeah,
there is a battle between Black Magic and Chris Sota for P25 as well.
Who's that coming out the pits?
That is Michael Massey just returning to the pits.
Right.
He must have not had a fuel.
Potentially, or may have just had a little bit of a spin, but our leader, I think we say enough superlatives about him week in, week out.
It's easy for you to say.
It is. I wouldn't have been able to say it Saturday. But again, he qualifies in P1, he leads the race going into turn 1 and completes another race win. Mr. Thomas Nopek, take a bow. You are our Sprint Race 1 Championship. Nico Veltman, fair play to you, boy. That is a fantastic result in P2. Marco Keddy claims another podium in P3 with that fantastic battle with Sky Lovering in P4. Papano is just about to come across the line to win the AMS in P5 overall. Dean Power in P6. Chris Fielder P2 in the AMS in 7th. Chris Schneider in P8. Nigel O'Brien comes across to claim P9. Michael Firth, aka Floppy Fox, in 10. Gunter rounds up the top 3 in the AMS in 11th. Bjorn Dale gets 12th. Goodway gets 13th. Demokos Kish 14th. Stefano Barato beats Raki, is still fighting with Raki, going into the final. Going into the final corner, but it looks as though Barato claims 15th, Raki in 16th, Strand Vanilla in 17th. Directly behind him is Alan Brown. Woodward with his little adventure in P19. Let's hope he doesn't hit that car which has just disappeared. Chica on his new wheel in P20th. Qualified really well, but didn't finish very well in P20th. And Craig Hill in the FRL liveried Audi. I don't know why you would pick that as your first car on this in P21. Then we've got Gavin Taylor 22, Gibbons 23, Marco in 24th, Black Magic in 25, Classens in 26th, Sauter in 27th, Blanchett in 28th, and Michael Massey in 29th. That is the end of race 1, and we do it all over again for qualifying in a minute, don't we?
Yep.
Oh, please don't sound too enthused.
I'm just hoping for a better result.
Yes.
What did you think of that race?
I missed some of it, I fell asleep. That's not to do with the race, that's just because I've not been feeling well, not sleeping much, but from what I saw of it, it was very interesting. Definitely different times than what I was claiming in the chat the other day.
Well, yeah, you are a bit. It is a bit absent sometimes, isn't it? So, I'm just about to do nice things because Keddy.
Is that your way of saying that I'm just stupid?
No, it's me trying to figure out what I am trying to do now. So I'm trying to update my overlay before Master shouts. So where is it? That one, I think it is. Yes, I want.
It's a real shame about the start for the boys.
Yeah.
They got qualified again.
Yeah, Michael Messi, Ryan Blanchett, one of the guys who is up the front, having to finish at the back because of that contact. He had severe damage. Carson's, who another really fast driver, was down the back. Michael Massey not having the greatest of races, but that race in the racing that does happen, and I saw that personally last season. I mean, for my first race, 2 races into the season, I was like 10th in the first race and then got P3 in the second race. So events like that do happen. Just hopefully there will be a bit more of an awareness into the corner. So there's a
lap one at Donington Park is going to always be tight.
Oh yeah.
And it's not going to be the most fun. We should have, because we were pushed to time due to the podcast, we didn't have a look at the stand-ins prior to the race. Appreciate these have all changed slightly since the last time around. So we got Nopek currently leads the way in the pros in P1. Then we got Senadori, who's going to be affected by that disconnect in P2. Sky Lovrink in 3. Power in 4th. Melka Garby, who's not with us tonight, in P5. Bjorn Dale 6th. Kish in 7th, Strampanella 8th, Goodway in 9th, and Zach Dell, who once again isn't with us, in P10.
Keddy must be way down the list from Mr. Race.
So let's have a look where Keddy is. Christ, he is.
He's 18th.
18th, there he is. So he's in 18th, so he's only done. He did the last race with 2 P4s. There we go.
He had a DNF in the first race, which didn't help him either, but the 2 races that he missed probably really hurt.
In our AMs, we've got Gunter, who leads the way, currently in P1 with 294. Then we got Fielder in P2 with 284. Gavin Taylor on 281. Blanchett on 251. Raki in P5 on 240. Brizzle in P6. Then we got Harry Horty, who's been disqualified. Then Papano at 213. Sauter, and then Tice Payne in P10. Chica's in P11. Anyone else? Timon Turner's not with us tonight. And Chris Jones, who just did that one event for a bit of fun. Right, so that's what I should have done prior to the race, which I didn't. But yeah, there we go. I feel better now. I feel like I'm ticking off my to-do list before during a race. Qualifying is yet to start for race 2. Drivers are still in the cool dame rooms post race 1. Keddy, I've been a good boy and added the correct overlay to the stream, so you should be happy. As we now go into qualifying for race 2. So it'll be the AMs out first once again, as I'm just sorting out something which it between races, because we do 2 qualifying, it doesn't like the fact that we do 2 qualifying and it throws all the standings or all the drop downs completely out of sync. So I was just
what's that on?
ACC TV. It kind of
Right.
it puts people in P1, which are like 2/3 of the way down the grid.
It was doing it with Coops and all that as well. It just doesn't recognise that you're doing 2 qualifying.
No, so
after the first one, it goes to a gap system rather than a time system. I don't know if there's a way to get back from that.
I just get disconnect and reconnect again to the, as it looks like someone has potentially got back in to the race.
It should be Salvatore.
Senatore.
Yep, Senatore and 23rd.
Yay! It's next.
He got back in.
It's next has got back in. So hello to our 20 viewers. That's the highest.
15.
It's 20 on my. It's 20 on my phone, Derek. That's what I'm going by. As we've just seen the barrier fly off in the distance, Black Magic was in a little bit of a hurry to get out on his formation lap. He's actually been a naughty boy and overtaken Stefano Barato in the Lamborghini. But
you're not allowed to do that. No,
you're not allowed to do that. Let's hope Bjorn Claessens has a better qualifying round. So, Chris Sater says, couldn't have had a worse run of that if I tried.
Chris Sater said what?
Couldn't have had a worse run of that if I tried. I assume that's relating to... Yeah.
Was he racing? I didn't even notice him. How bad the race was that he didn't notice him?
Oh, God. Just had to turn my heater off. I was cooking in here. 22 degrees.
No, we can let you off. He was asleep for half the race.
Well, that's true. Did you mention him on stream?
I think Ryan mentioned him.
Going slow.
Yes.
He finished in 27th, so
yeah,
it wasn't all bad. He was ahead of a couple of pros and Blanchett as well.
So drivers are just starting their first flying laps now. So we've got Chris Fielder in the monster liveried Aston Martin currently on my screen. In car number 43, second last time around behind Papano. Slowly is clawing his way back on Gunter, who's currently leading the championship. But Gunter's been very, very consistent.
King of the Hills is in the wall.
Kingy's in the wall, he's in the wall, King, he's in the wall.
He's now facing the wrong direction, trying to get turned back round. Just after the turn 1.
Yeah, I could just see him just coming back on the track now. So he just has to be careful, make sure any cars are on a fast lap and not coming through. So Chris Fielder sets the fastest lap of qualifying so far with a 26.9. So yeah, so Chromedix, if you were wondering, now we have the ERS logo on our wonderful wall of sponsors, associates, friends, partners, commentators.
The banner's getting quite big now. It's going to have to be a double light shot.
It is. And once again, if you are watching, please scan that QR code to sign up to the Sim staff newsletter. It would really, really help us out. Floppy Fox, very happy with P10, dropped to P15 at one point, tired now. Well, hopefully you're getting reinvigorated. JR says, Dell sounds hot tonight.
Yeah, I've got a fever, I have do. And I had got a fever. She's a kind of...
Fever? Fever lasts to the night, give me fever. No? Nobody else going to join in?
No, I don't know the song. I don't know the words. I know the song, I don't know the words.
I think that was the well. We've lost 5 viewers since I started singing, so probably better
Yeah.
not do that again.
Well, we were up at 30 viewers right as you started, and it just disappeared that quickly.
No, it went down. You give me fever. Oh. Do you like the inclusion of Ryan's screen, JR, in the bottom right hand corner? If anyone's watching on their phone, it's probably non-existent.
Yeah, they're going, what stream?
But so we're just on board with Papano at the moment, currently in P1.
A lad from Sheffield singing. He said, there's not like a lad from Sheffield singing.
Oh, for God's sake. I'm back up in Sheffield on Monday, actually. Getting my feet.
Going home.
Going home. There's only one home, and that's the green grass of home. There we go. I'm trying to avoid going to Scotland.
Why, you don't want to go for a pint with all the other admins for Scotland and do bad things?
Well, no, I don't want to go up there. They asked me to. A certain fire and rescue service asked me to lead their project, and I didn't want to.
Strathclyde?
No, Scottish.
Well, it's Strathclyde. Well, in their area it's Strathclyde, then you got Greater Glasgow, I think.
No, it's the full Scottish Fire and Rescue Service.
Oh, okay, maybe they don't do it in different districts then.
So they have their districts, but they're all governed by the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service.
Right, okay.
So Chris Fielder goes P1 with a 26.727. I'm currently doing the managing the health and wellbeing system implementation. I don't want to manage their finance and HR one.
Yeah, if you did end up having to come up, it would be probably Edinburgh rather than Glasgow, right enough.
Yes. He won't
And
join
it's born to go out and drink in Edinburgh.
So, Chris Smiley, he won't join me for one in Sheffield. Well, we all know what happens when James drinks, Chris. We saw evidence of that on Saturday night. So, Floppy Fox, love the second screen, would like more of that on my phone now, though. We'll watch it back on TV later, can't wait. Good, I'm glad. We like viewers.
James on a 65-inch 4K TV, that was scary.
I'd be the 65-inch 4K TV. This face does not need to be seen in 4K. How are you doing, Ryan? You alive? No?
Gave up.
He's given up. Can't get a word in edgeways between us. So Chris Fielder's going quicker again. He's just gone a bit slow. He's just encountered some traffic in front of him, so he's backed off from his lap. But he was on for a 26.6, which is insane. I think we just heard Ryan come back. Chica's gone into the pits. Woody is currently in P5. How long have we got? So these will be the last laps. Papano's pulled over to the side at the moment. So Gavin Taylor from Ireland is just going into the second to last hairpin. Currently half a second up on his time. If he carries on with this, he could potentially go into 6th or 7th position as he heads towards the last corner now. Gavin Taylor. Is he going to carry on the momentum? We've got Bjorn Claessens, who's just finished his lap as well. He goes into P5. So Gavin Taylor goes into P6, and that will be the end of his qualifying now. So that was a fantastic effort. Alan Brizzle-Brown currently in P4, 10th of a second down on his best time of a 27.3. So hopefully he'll be able to pull that back out before the end of the lap. We've also got Craig Hill and Chris Fielder still out on their laps as well. So Alan Brown comes through the final corner and drives into the pits. So thanks for that, Brizzle. That was a nice bit of a letdown. As you can see, all the pros piling out from the pits as well.
I was going to say, there's 6 minutes left. Anybody doing extra laps in the AM is in trouble.
Yeah, so Chris Fielder's just coming across to complete his qualifying, and he's P1. Craig Hill finishes his lap, he goes P9. So we've got Fielder, Papano, Gunter, Brizzle, Claessens. It's on auto, that's fine. Claessens, Taylor, Woodward, Thompson, Hill, Raki, Black Magic, Barato, Blanchett, Gibbons, Marco, and then we've got our pro driver. So Sauter didn't manage to set a lap. Are you alive again, Ryan?
I am alive.
Did Sauter even go out that time? No, he didn't even
not.
go out. He stuck to the back.
Just as you said about that heavy queue of cars down the back straight, Chris Schneider was the first car on track, but the first person to start their lap was Thomas Nopek.
What's the surprise? He just wants to be first at everything.
I did notice that Chris Schneider did back off on the back straight, thinking that he was going to let Loverank through, and Nopek, but Loverank decided to stay behind him.
Yeah, you can just see in the distance, you can see Skyler just behind. We're just on board with Thomas Nopek as he is approaching the chicane. So remember, these are the laps that count towards the FRLACC records. So, yes. It would be exciting.
He's got that already, hasn't he?
No, because because we're only allowed to import one qualifying on SimGrid. It's only the second qualifying that counts.
It used to be the first one that always got imported.
Oh, always second.
Not when I was doing it.
Oh, always second, Derek.
Not when I was doing it.
So Thomas Nopek goes straight away with a 26.057. It should be the second qualifying, because in theory that should be the quickest one. Skyler Loverank straight away pops his car into P5. Daniel Chris Schneider in P12. Who's that? That's Bjorn Dale's just popped himself into P4. I'm not sure what my cameras were doing. Nopek's going even quicker still. Let's have a look. Anyone else improving? Stranvanella needs to have a better qualifying this time around. He was a bit too far down the grid for his liking last time out. Is Mr. Senadori? Yes, so Mr. Senadori's already done one lap for him. He's on a 27.457, so currently in P13, so we'll be looking to improve from that. 4 minutes left.
So Nopek has started quality off with a flying lap of a 26.0.
Yeah, and he's about to go even quicker because he's 3/10 up on that. So Thomas Nopek going through the second to last corner. If he nails these next two corners, that is going to be a 25.8 potentially. It breaks in. A little bit of lag as someone joins. So Thomas Nopek, and that was a 25.722.
Just trying to see who has rejoined, and I cannot work out who has rejoined.
No, I don't think anyone has, because we've still got 30 in.
Yeah, we've still got 30. Unless Sutter had an issue with his pedals and he left and went to sort them and rejoined.
So Dean Powers getting a bit of a slipstream going down the start-finish straight, goes from P11 to P5. That's a good jump from him. He drops straight away down to P6 as Senadori also crosses the line and goes P4. As the pros now starting to drop, Keddy has completed his lap of a 26.830, which is 1.1 seconds slower than Nopek.
Nico Wildman showing that he is fast yet again. Only 4.5 seconds off of Thomas Nopek. Nopek being an alien himself. It's just showing that he could cause a disturbance in the
force.
in the force of Nopek of winning every single race. Obviously, that won't be the case because he's
lost one race.
Beaten
So
by Loverank.
Yes, he has indeed. So Daniel Chris Schneider just coming through the final corner, a couple of tenths up on his lap. We'll have a jump onto Bjorn Dale. So will Chris Schneider? Yes, he does indeed. He moves up into P8. Bjorn Dale coming through the final corner as well has gone too wide. So that won't be an improvement from him. He's 7/10 of a second. Nopek going through sector 1 is currently showing purple. And purple mean fast. So these drivers will still have 2 more laps after this potentially. So I think
drivers from Kish forward will have a second lap, one more lap.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if so Michael Massey crosses the line, so he's going to have one more lap after this. So who is up? Who is exciting me on the track in terms of their lap times at the moment? So Goodway's up on his, but he's not too far into it. So let's have a look at Daniel Schneider, currently a tenth of a second up on his best lap as he heads towards the right hand hairpin at the bottom of the hill. Always a difficult braking point, and it amazes me watching these in real life of how late these guys can actually brake. Great fun watching GT3s and GT4 cars fighting it out on track in person. But here we have the virtual world. You see Keddy in his lemon car behind. So Chris Schneider stays P6. Nopek has just started another lap. Last lap was a 25.755, so slightly slower.
I was slightly wrong. It will be, I think, down to David Goodway that's going to have an extra lap.
So Nico Veltman is just starting his last lap. He's dropped down to P3 as Senadore is in P2. Senadore crosses the line, and that is his qualifying over. He manages a 26.090. So who is up at the moment? Stranvanella is equal with his time. Nigel O'Brien's not improving. Schneider, where is Mr. Goodway? Goodway is in P9 at the minute. So Daniel Schneider is probably our driver of interest as Nopek's invalidating. That is the end of his qualifying. So the new lap record is 25.722 from Thomas Nopek. Veltman's not going to beat it. Keddy's not going to beat it. Skyler could potentially beat it in P5. Chris Schneider in P6 is 0.6 of a second down on his best time. So let's have a little bit of a look at Skyler Lovering, because he's 0.3 of a second up. This could potentially put him in P2 if he carries on with this. 0.2 of a second. He's dropped a little bit into the final corner. 0.1 of a second. So 4 tenths. Oh, sorry, my wife just scared me with a cup of tea. Thank you. As Skyler Lovering crosses the line, he gets P2. So he does jump massively up the grid. Bjorn Dale, David Goodway struggling through the final sector. Goodway goes straight on. He's not going to be improving. And I think, unless somebody tells me otherwise, that is the end of qualifying.
Stalin Ellis is the only one that's not in the pits, but he has finished.
Yeah, so they have all finished. There's now the drivers line up on the grid. So let's have a quick refresh of the starting grid going from back to front.
Just real quick, I'd like to be as brave as you, James, being scared of a cup of tea.
It's when you, because these noise cancelling headphones, you can't see anything or hear anything. You obviously can't see through your ears anyway. Otherwise, that's a different issue. And obviously not facing the door, I couldn't hear anything, see anything. So it was just and I thought I locked the door as well, which is an interesting thing. So Sauter claims for P30, Marco 29th, Barry Gibbons 28th, Ryan Blanchett 27th, Barato in 26th, Blackmagic in 25th. We'll be hoping for a better race too. Strampanella 24th, Raki in 23rd, Craig Hill in 22nd. Then we've got Ian Thompson and Woodward in 21st and 20th. Gavin Taylor, Classens, Massey, Brown and Firth in P15th. Demokos Kish, Gunter in P13, Nigel O'Brien in 12th, Papano in 11th and Dean Power in 10th. P9 is David Goodway. Then we've got the first of the AMs of Chris Fielder in P8. Bjorn Dale in 7th, Chris Schneider in 6th, Marco Keddy in 5th, Nico Veltman in 4th, Vincenzo Senadore in 3rd, Skyler Lovering in 2nd, and Thomas Nopek in P1. As if the sun changes direction, it's certain the sun rises in the west and sets in the east. Nopek is P1 in qualifying. Oh, right, we are getting ready for race 2. I have a nice fresh cup of tea, which is absolutely boiling. Derek,
Get the hell out of you.
Yes, what are you drinking?
Nothing.
Ryan?
Water, because I'm sick.
I'm eating crisps.
Nice, what brand?
M&S special ones.
Oh, they're not just crisps, they're M&S crisps.
Yep.
Masochism and sadism.
So these two, so Senator.
Oh my god, another advert about fucking Hogwarts.
Oh, sorry, another advert about what, Derek?
Hogwarts!
Are they trying to invite you to Hogwarts? Are they?
I'd imagine they want us to start up a Quidditch fucking league or something.
Christ, I'm gonna have to mute you in a minute. Your swearing is terrible.
Oh, sorry, I'm not remembering.
I'm effing tired. So
I was going to leave at 8, but I thought I can't leave James, and then I forgot Ryan was coming in, and I'm just still here. My head's up. I've been eating strepsils and things all day, as if they're
You're
candy.
meant to suck the strepsils, not eat the strepsils.
Well, I do. I've got no choice but to suck them. I've got no teeth. But yeah, I've been sucking on them all day, so I don't know how many you're supposed to have.
You're meant to have a max of 6 a day.
Oh well, I've had probably 12, 13.
You're going to be a bit loose later, you know.
As long as
So we're just gonna
as long
see
as I'm
about
sitting on the toilet when I'm loose, I'll be alright.
Right, so Smiley says get it bought, Derek.
What?
Hogwarts.
Oh, no, hell no. I've sent my Steam list. I don't know.
We may have a driver starting from the pits. No. Black Magic has decided to move away from the grid before he gets reset. Possibly.
Well, he's still got a bit of gaining to do, but generally gets a couple of seconds to be able to do that.
Yeah, as long as you got like 30 seconds, as long as you get yourself out the edge, you're good. The only upsetting part about it is his tyres will be a bit better condition than everybody else, because he's actually got a decent speed to catch up. I'll give up. Not talking no more.
You can be excused, Derek, if you want to, but stay in the chat because I need you to be where you are, because then that allows me to see Ryan's screen. And oh no, it doesn't actually.
No, you just want me to stay so I can take all the heat off of you two.
Right, I took my jumper off. I turned my heater off. Now I'm bloody cold again. We've lost.
Tunnel.
Yes, there is a tunnel. You don't need to go through the tunnel.
I also noticed the chimneys off in the distance, which I drove past multiple times when I was going to my college training.
See if you go through that tunnel.
Yep.
Towards the infield, and then you take a left down by the back of the pits, and you see that big hill that goes down.
Yep.
That's the one that Chris pushed me down. I fell out my wheelchair.
Ah.
You remember that, James?
I do.
Right in front of the food place.
So, car number 92 has been reported for a bit of lag.
Number 92. That is the yellow Ferrari, if I'm correct.
Chica's gone off the track.
Yeah, you can see.
Yep.
Oh no, that could be chaos. So let's hopefully it settles down before.
Well, that puts him in last position because Chris Sauter was the man in last position.
So.
Go to the
he's made it back. He's made it back.
Right. Okay. So let's have a look at Mr. Fielder.
I think that might have been a TV going off moment.
Yeah. So we've got the start of the race again. So Lovering and Nopek side by side once again on the marks. Get set, go! So the Ferrari does manage to get a decent start this time around. And is he going to try and go around the outside of Lovering? Nopek? No, he's not. Senadori closes that gap in again. So Veltman and Keddy fall back into line as well. Let's have a look.
Oh!
I can see death. I can see death. I can hear death in my ears as my cameras are trying to catch up. But it does look as though.
Cars again.
Yeah, so you can see Ian Thompson in 28th position, but there are multiple cars.
Yeah, there was a Mercedes trying to get out of the way of the accident in front and took out his back end.
Yeah, so just having a look at Nopek, and he still is jittering.
I think that was Taylor Wiz because he just let Chica back by again.
Right, okay. So I suppose...
Oh, sorry, carry on.
So just looking at Senadori trying to chase down Lovering. Veltman's right in behind them, and Keddy's in there as well. A little bit more of a gap to Chris Schneider, then Dale, Fielder, Power, Goodway, O'Brien, and Papano. Michael Firth directly behind him. I'm not sure how. It's still a little bit jittery in terms of.
It cost Mr. Firth quite a lot of time through the chicane. He had to go deep, and then is under pressure now from the Mercedes, just due to this jumping Ferrari.
Yeah, so I think someone needs to potentially have a look at that and see what they think should happen.
What are we talking about?
Car number 92, and Connection. So we're currently looking at
that's
Nico.
Pompano, isn't it?
Yeah, it is Papano.
Yeah, he's
He is
side to side on the track. He's all over the place.
His latency bar is maxed out, so.
Oh, he's under the ground. Oh, he went for a wee nosedive under the ground and come back out. Yes, that's making me sick.
Smiley, if you let Derek know what you think should happen, Derek can do things, but do it via DM.
Yeah, don't do it in the chat like you're trying to do.
Yeah, so Marco Keddy is right behind. So King of the Hills looks like he's going off the track as well in the distance. So Keddy is now right behind Veltman. Senadori's got slowly away from the corner, which has put him under a lot of pressure from both Veltman and Keddy as they go into the braking zone. They are clean. They are clean. As Veltman still manages to stay in P3 somehow.
Michael Firth's just lost the back end and dropped off of.
As Senadori's gone up the inside, going through the final corner. Senadori is side by side with Nico Veltmans. The BMW versus Audi Power going down into turn 1. We've got Papano has gone into the pits. I think that might be something to do with the connection issues. We have still fighting away between Veltman and Senadori. This is for P3 overall. Keddy is waiting for a mistake, waiting for an opportunity between these drivers, but it looks as though Senadori is definitely quicker at the moment. As we have a car.
Lovering's off.
So Skylar Lovering was that car which we just saw in the distance. He's trying to get going again, trying to join the track in a safe manner. There is a lot of fast cars coming through the sector. There's a Ferrari going past a Blanchett. There's an Audi going past a King of the Hills. So so Lovering now rejoins in 20th positions. 20th position. 20th positions? There we go. So that is terrible news for Skylar Lovering. Consistency once again ruins his night. I'm not sure what you see. Is that Senadori and Veltman? Yes, it is. Senadori, Veltman and Keddy. So Senadori is again trying to make the move into the second to last hairpin. Veltman gets away nice and cleanly into the braking zone. Veltman defends. Senadori is still trying to make a move. So Vincenzo Senadori is a little bit further behind. So Dale is right behind Chris Schneider as well for P5 and 6. So is Dale gonna be under pressure? Probably. Well, Dale's putting the pressure on, in fairness, on Chris Schneider, but also Dale's under pressure from Fielder behind Power and Goodway.
So from that spin of Skylar Lovering, he's dropped down to P20.
Yeah, but he's all over the back of King of the Hills as well. Oh, Chris Schneider's gone off, is he? He's fallen down the grid. He's fallen down a number of positions, but he looks as though he is back and up and running again in P9. Nigel O'Brien is right behind him. So Skylar Lovering, so Craig Hill has gone past Ryan Blanchett. Now Skylar Lovering wants to challenge that position as well. So let's have a quick look and see. So Skylar Lovering is going to try and go the balls deep maneuver into the chicane. A little bit of contact from Blanchett, and to be honest, I'm not sure if that was the best opportunity to take the move for Skylar there. He drops down into P21 now behind Sauter, and also loses P21 first position to Alan Brown, who makes the move. So probably not the best place to make that move into that hairpin. Neil Woodward's all over the back of Bjorn Claessens. Bjorn Claessens is right behind Floppy Fox. But yes, Woody is in 4th, Smiley. Not 3rd, but I think he's just about to potentially, if he's wise, he's just let Stramvanella take the inside line and let him disappear. But we know Woody
he's not getting out of the way.
No, he's definitely not getting out of the way. So Stramvanella goes very, very deep and across the grass, getting a bit of dirt on his windshield. So Neil Woodward is now under a lot of pressure from Stramvanella, but all he has focusing on is Claessens in front in P3. Stramvanella is right on the rear bumper, going into the double right-hander now. So Woodward still defends. The Ferrari is putting him under a lot of pressure. Trying to look if there's... So Keddy and Senadore are still in 3rd and 4th. Stramvanella into the braking zone, closes in. Stramvanella's just all over the track, but he's absolutely rapid regardless. But he is exploring as many track limits as he possibly can.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how many warnings he's had. Definitely looks like he could have had a couple. Maybe he got the early on ones and he can't. They're fast enough now that it doesn't matter.
So Sky Lovering's back up into P21. He's moved past Alan Brown. Dean Power.
Lovering having a hard time back here in the Fury.
Oh no!
Oh, that's Chica.
It's just been. Chica's just spun Mr. Lovering.
And
as Lovering's just come back on track right in front of
Oh
the
no!
Yeah, that's not.
Now, as one streamer once said, tickets.
Yeah, but David Goodway and Dean Power are getting close together. So, well, let's have a look at drivers on track. Rather than people trying to kill each other. But it just.
Oh no, Mr. Soto has crashed off again.
Oh, Sauter's in the wall. But that's promoted Sky Lovering. He's still 7.5 seconds behind. Now Blanchett, as Blanchett has been overtaken by Brizzle as well. So David Goodway is right on the rear of Power in the Porsche. And then Fielder's not too far ahead, but Fielder in the AMS is currently in 6th place. Also, just to bring up another point, it's not unusual to have a series where an AM is into the top 10s of the pros. We've had it on on numerous seasons.
I had it multiple times last season.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the reason it happens is everybody's got a track or two that they are really good at, and a track or two that they're awful at. As we were talking about Barcelona earlier on the hot stunts, I might be kicked out of the league if I tried to do a hot stunt now. I can't do Barcelona.
You weren't a victim of my purge, so
No.
So Black Magic is right on the back of Stramvanella now. So Woodward's managed to pull away. Craig Hill is now in P16. David Goodway is less than 0.2 of a second behind Dean Power as well in P7. As Wiz Motorsport should be paying us for the amount of advertising that we're putting on their rear wing at the moment.
Ryan Blanchett's off the track.
Oh no, not Blanchett again.
Yeah, and Stramvanella. Stramvanella. Oh! Just come back on the track right in front of Lovering. Lovering just able to avoid him.
So Lovering's moved back up into P19 then.
Blanchett's off again.
Yeah, he's not having a good Donington.
KD is all over back of Senatore right now, trying to get that second place. Second place? Third place?
Third.
Why isn't KD's in third?
Yeah, so they're just challenging down into turn 1. Senadore was putting the pressure on Veltman, however has now fallen back into the clutches of the BMW behind. Kish is very, very close to Gunter behind. Is Kish going to try and make a move down into turn 1? We've not seen very many clean moves into turn 1, but no, Kish just decided to back out of it. Gunter runs slightly wide. Gunter thinking long term in terms of the championship. If I get P2, it's going to be very hard to catch me.
as the guys further back are really struggling with time. Just looking at the last laps of some of the drivers, they're struggling to do 130s, sub 130s from Rocky Maggi back. As Rocky Maggi's just been overtaken by Gavin Taylor down for QTS's.
Yeah, just seen Gavin just fire through. He's just jumped up into P21. Blanchett is now into 23.
And Thompson into the pit lane.
But what I appreciate, Skyler's probably as frustrated as anyone, falling down the grid as far as he's had to do. But it does show they're quite competitive back there, aren't they?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's one thing that I realised when I was in the AMS last season, is it was really, really intense. I mean, Brands Hatch was one of my best races, where I was battling Chris Schneider, Ryan Blanchett for the win in the first race, and then Michael Massey come out of nowhere in the second race, disappeared from me and Chris Schneider, and then it was me and Chris Schneider battling for P2. And I'm pretty sure I got P2 in that race. I nabbed him at the line. So it's always quite competitive in the AMS.
But it shows even with a pro driver with quite a bit of pace, it's hard to get through. So Craig Hill is now trying to... I'm not sure if these two ever raced each other, Woody and Craig.
Yeah, they did on PlayStation.
Oh, before the split?
Yeah, before PlayStation 5 came out. But as soon as PlayStation 5 came out, that's when Chris went over to there.
Yeah.
Because he had the PlayStation 5.
No, King of the Hill, Craig had the PS5, PS4 for Woody.
Yeah. That's what I said, Chris.
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 Craig.
It's Chris Hill.
Craig.
Is it Craig Hill? Okay.
Yes.
Don't stop yelling at me.
Oh, Keisha's gone deep.
Oh no, what's happened to Tomokosh Kiss? Kish is now going to be overtaken by Floppy Fox. Yes, he is. So Floppy Fox moves into P12.
I got Brian and Daniel Chris Schneider side by side into the final corner.
He is indeed. So we got the Porsche on the inside line. So Chris Schneider is potentially going to get the slower exit, but the inside line going into turn 1, they're going to be side by side as they go through. Chris Schneider does have a little bit of the edge. Is anyone going to yield? Yes. The Honda does back out a little bit and then falls into the racing line behind the Porsche, but the Honda doesn't want to give up yet. Honda does not want to give up as they go down the hill into the right-hander, slightly off camber, and then it's left, and then I think it's another left into a 2 right-hand corners, isn't it? That's one right-hand corner. I saw a couple of GV3s crashed off into the sand out there, then into another right-hander. Delay the power for as long as possible to get on it, to get a good exit as you head down towards the chicane. It looks as though Chris Schneider has managed to get away for now. But I do feel as they get towards the hairpins, the Honda will close back in again. Is he going to go into the braking zone anywhere near Chris Schneider? Not this time.
Chris Schneider's been struggling with the exit, so Nigel O'Brien could be able to get closer.
Yeah, he needs the inside line, ideally. But Chris Schneider defends that quite nicely. But I think Nigel will get a better exit coming out of here this time.
John Dale holding off Chris Fielder, Dean Power, and David Goodway.
I think King of the House is driving the old Audi.
No, he is driving the new Audi.
There we go.
TC1 and TC2. I thought the new one only had TC1.
No, it's got TC2 as well.
Has it?
Yeah, trust me,
You can tell by the rear wing.
I've not dealt with the Audi at all.
You don't want to.
The one way of telling.
And then the races that I've been with James, I've always been in front of him when he's on the Audi.
It's not hard. I'm debating my car for next season.
Oh no!
I think I'm picking the Ferrari next season.
Michael Cady has been promoted to P3. Senatore has got a drive-through penalty.
Oh no! So Kenny has the drive-through so Senatore has the drive-through penalty. That's going to drop him. 10?
Massively.
I think I'm pretty sure he'd rather have a drive-through than a disconnect.
Yeah.
I think that he would drop to about 16th, 15th, 16th.
Well, he's not going to serve it this lap anyway. He's going to go for another tour round Donington Park. So we've got 9 minutes left of this race.
Car 112, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just give Keddy one as well. Give Keddy a drive through. Sod it. Let's make it fun. Give Nopec a drive through and see what happens.
Give the top 10 a stop and go.
Yeah. So Craig Hill is still putting Woody under quite a lot of pressure. I'm not sure if they're in the chat together as well. That would be quite interesting. They're not. So that would have been quite fun if Craig is giving him a bit of bants in the chat.
I wonder if there's an admin command to give the whole field a drive-through.
What? See who can serve it better. So Thompson is in the pits. So we've got 27.
Give everybody a break.
Yeah, we've got 27 drivers on track at the minute. Michael Firth is right on the back of Gunter. Gunter doesn't really need to fight for this position. He could just let him through, but if he lets him through, then that could allow Claessens, currently in P3, to close in. And Woodward is not too far behind him either, but Floppy Fox is moving to the left and right, searching for a chink in Gunter's armour. Nothing is being present at the moment in terms of that. So Floppy Fox now, is he going to try and make a move into the hairpin? No, he's not. He's going to try and go for a nice smooth line to get the exit. Gunter runs very, very wide, and they go side by side through the exit into the final corner. The Mercedes is still going to try and fight for this against the Ferrari. Floppy Fox now has to be mindful of Demokos Kish behind, and Gunter manages to claim the position back somehow. That was fantastic racing from the Ferrari and the Mercedes. Well done, Gunter. Well done, Floppy.
So Senatore has to serve the drive-through this lap. Who's stayed out to try and extend that gap to the cars behind, so he doesn't lose too much time. I'm thinking he's still going to come out P13.
It's a very short pit at Donington, though.
Yes.
He doesn't have to hit the pit box then. He just drives through.
I'm still thinking it's about 25 in total.
Is it that high?
Yeah. The only one that is different from... I might be wrong, it might be 20.
Yeah.
But even if it's 20, he's still going to be behind Mr. Kiss.
Use your drone and go in and time yourself how long it takes to go through it 30 mile an hour.
I don't know, I have to time myself at 30 mile an hour.
So Gunter's dropped down to P13, but still remains in P2 in the AMS. Firth and Kish have both managed to get through that battle.
He is in the pit lane now, and where I think he's going to come out, being 13th, and just coming into the final corner now. I might be wrong.
So he's just going past Chica on the. So currently he is down into P8. As now he gets to get the throttle back on. That was 20.7 seconds.
Yeah. I wasn't far off of him being near Kish.
So that has put him into P10. Nigel O'Brien is the car up in front of him, currently 4 seconds in front of him. So I'm not sure. Second a lap, he might catch him by the end. But catching's one thing, passing's another.
Yeah.
As a famous commentator once said.
Well, no, it's not. Nigel O'Brien is off the track and he is sideways.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that'd be a simple pass then.
So I'm just trying
again, it wasn't easy to get past him.
He did. He's just
he was papped on the side there on the track, so it was difficult.
That's a bonus position, or Brucey bonus position for Senador. He's moved up into P9. Nigel O'Brien sadly dropped down to P13, so he's now behind Gunter. But he's also he's done Gunter a massive favour. He's giving Claessens a little bit of an obstacle to get through before he gets to Gunter, if indeed Claessens can get there. But Chris Fielder at the moment is in P5, P5 overall, but P1 in the AMS, and he is a good chunk of time ahead of Gunter in P12 overall. So he looks nailed on for the win. Thomas Nopek, yeah, there he is.
You can't call it off. They could get a drive through still.
Yeah, but Gunter, Nopek doesn't need to push. He's doing 20.
Nah.
He's doing 26.2s at the minute.
Yeah, he should be. He'll probably be driving in his comfort zone just now.
Yes. So Craig Hill and Neil Woodward. Audi versus Porsche still going on. It's our closest fight on the track at the moment, I believe. Let's go on to Craig and see. What did you call him earlier? Clive?
Chris?
Chris.
I don't think I called him Clyde. Is that not the ginger orangutan from Icewood's movies?
I don't know. So Barry Gibbons. Barry Gibbons is giving Blanchett a couple of problems in 23rd position at the moment as they continue to fight on. Bjorn Claessens in 14th position is after Nigel O'Brien, who hasn't synced his livery. It's not me, I sync my liveries.
He hasn't synced his livery for the last 3 rounds.
Yes.
I may or may not message him saying, can you upload the livery for next week's race?
Alright, okay, and he's just ignored you.
No, I haven't texted him. I might text him after this race.
Alright, okay, so we got...
Why don't you get if he's your friend, why don't you upload it for him? Because you made it, did you not?
I didn't make these ones.
No. It's a Wiz Motorsports livery. So I think Wiz Motorsports needs to go in and do it for him. So Domokos Kish is...
so I'm missing parts of the conversation as well tonight, apparently.
So Domokos Kish is putting Michael Firth under a bit of pressure. Bjorn Dale is giving some problems for Chris Fielder. Problems that Chris Fielder ideally does not want.
Chris Fielder's just made the move actually on Bjorn Dale.
Right, okay. So Fielder's moved up into P4. Wow. I don't know what to say. That's just insane.
He definitely sandbagged his placement.
Well, you can't. It's difficult.
You can't say that though.
So trust me, there is a new facility on which is going to go in live where I could potentially find sandbaggers for next season.
What we need to do is the test track, wherever we do the test track at, the very first race or a race further on needs to be that track, and then you get to see how much quicker they are on the track.
Well, there's something, a new toy that I have, and also something I've done for another community today might help with this stuff as well.
You like the re-vibrators, don't you?
No, I sat there and keyed in every single result over the past 2 years of another community.
Oh God!
They knew.
This race is not going well.
They knew what I was doing. By the way, I didn't just go and do it.
You were asked to do it then.
No, I wasn't asked.
you thought I'll use you as a test guinea pig.
No, they've done us a favour. So I thought I would do them a favour. So Bjorn Dale and Chris Fielder are still fighting it out. We've got 35 seconds left. Bjorn Dale's just gone send mode into the second to last corner. They're going side by side on the exit. Fielder and Bjorn Dale going into the final corner. Is this move going to stick? Is Fielder going to defend it still? Yeah, he is. As Bjorn Dale tries to go inside to out. Following down the start-finish straight. Short start-finish straight.
Go on, get him, King. Sorry, I'm watching Craig.
Yeah.
Put a move on Woody. Second last terrapin.
Yeah, but Skyler...
Lovering is joined up.
Yeah, Lovering has followed them through.
Yeah, he's not happy with the fight in front. He wants to get involved.
Yeah, why not? More the merrier, I'm sure Neil's saying.
Neil's loving it just now because King of the Hill's got to defend from him.
Yeah, as Skyler's moving left to right, trying to again search for that hole in King of the Hill. Is Battlemobile in the Audi. I was trying to figure out some wonderful adjective, and it just failed.
It failed because you don't like the car.
No, I want it to burn. But I'm pleased Craig is having such a good time in it. He's got all over the back of him is Skylar Lovering's not pleased with himself being back there. Had that off quite early on, but is still fighting it out. And Thomas, how the hell did that happen? So Thomas Nopek comes across to win race 2. Nico Veltman will come across in P2. Marco
Harry
Keddy.
Potter again.
Marco Keddy in P3. Chris Fielder in P4. Bjorn Dale in 5. Dean Power
I'm going to
in
send
6.
a message to Twitch. Because I missed the end of the race on stream because of the Harry Potter advert.
David Goodway in 7th. Chris Schneider in 8th. Senadore in 9th. Michael Firth in 10th. Demokos Kiss 12th. Gunter in P2 in the AMS in 12th. Then we got Nigel O'Brien and Bjorn Claessens in P3 in the AMS. Woody stays ahead of, is still trying to stay ahead of King of the Hills and Skylar. Skylar cannot get past Craig, so King of the Hills claims P16th, 17th for Skylar, Black Magic in 18th, Brizzle in 19th, Stranvanella in 20th. Then we got Gavin Taylor in 21st. Is a second behind Stranvanella, so Stranvanella is that car in front. And
a battle for 23rd.
So then you've got Blanchett, then you've got a battle for 23rd between Barry Gibbons and Racky, who's got some flappy bonnet syndrome, so Barry's going to try and go for the undercut. He's not going to be able to do it, so Racky looks to claim P23, Gibbons in 24th, Marco in 25th, Sauter in 26th, and and Papano, unfortunately, with that disqualification, finishes last. So Mr. Nopek wins again.
Not surprised. Sorry, I'm yawning and I'm leaving. The game's already shut down. The minute the car's all finished, I've just shut it down.
I don't blame you. Thank you again for joining me, Derek. So tonight's stream is, how long's this one gone on for? On my phone I can see it, 2 hours and 40 minutes. We've had the podcast with a recap of the driver ratings, how, why and what's the point. We've had a review of some of the feedback which you've given us, part of the survey which we publicised recently. We've also had 2 epic qualifyings for the super sprints and 2 epic races. Thomas Nopek wins both again. We had Papano win race 1. Unfortunately, some quality connection issues in race 2 paid for that, but Chris Fielder comes across in P4 overall, but P1 in the AMS. Gunter continues his consistency in P2. And we were joined by Ryan and Derek. Ryan, how was that evening for you?
It was a good race. Just a shame that there was those 2 crashes at the start for the races. It's just a shame for those drivers that are fast, but just were on the wrong part of the circuit at the time. So hopefully they'll bounce back for next week with a better mindset to get a podium.
Well, speaking
or
of
a better result.
Speaking of next week, just having a quick check. That's the Monza calendar. So we don't want to check.
That's endurance.
Yeah, that's the endurance calendar. So just trying to.
Next week is.
Is
track that I like.
Is Watkins Glen. So
yeah, not drove it yet. Competitively, but I do like it. And then it's Alton Park. My favourite track.
The reason why I didn't race this season.
so next season's calendar, I think, looks okay.
Do we have Imola next year?
I've petitioned for it.
Good, because that's one of the tracks I do well at as well.
Yeah, I think Snetterton's on it.
I've not got the medals for Snetterton yet.
I don't know.
Drove there.
But I will do my best to reveal next season's calendars next week on the podcast.
Just okay with the CEO so you don't get fired.
Oh, please fire me. Imagine what I could do with all this spare time. But I've been James Williams. I've been joined once again by Ryan and Derek. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope you've all had a good evening. So I'm sure it's goodbye from Ryan.
Good night.
And goodbye from Derek.
Bye bye.
Good night, everyone.